Okay, we are recording.
Do you think Smack is on as well? Usually is. He stepped out.
You know, they didn't join, but they are recording. I actually don't know.
Okay, well, it being 7 o'clock and having a quorum, we will get started. I'll start with our usual verbiage. In accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, which extends the Governor's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027. This meeting will be conducted both in person and virtually via Google Meet. To join the meeting online, it's meet.google.com/XUE, all small letters, -BOPG-GVA. And to join the meeting by phone, call 530-395-1043. The PIN is 536-010-361#. And with that, I will entertain a motion to open the meeting.
So moved. Or second.
And given that it's a hybrid meeting, all of our votes tonight will be done via roll call. At least once Barry's going to have to remind me of that, but this one I remembered. And I'll start with the folks in the room. Rich Terry?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Larice?
Yes.
Dwight?
Yes.
John Linehan? Are you on mute, John?
Yeah, he's muted.
Yeah.
Apologies, I was, yes.
And Don Brady?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. I think that covers everybody.
7 people.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's what I see in the left. Okay, great. We have first up on the agenda a number of project updates, most of which we have received in advance, the 2-page forms to give us the updates, which is great. I hope that all the members have had a chance to read through them. Are we all set with, is he?
No, you're good.
Okay. Very informative. Because of the size of our agenda tonight, I will ask people to really try to focus on the highlights. Let you off with the assumption that we have all read the updates that you have provided. And of course, the members will ask any questions relative to things they think may be missing or they need more information on. So with that, first up on the agenda is an update on Hebrew Senior Life with Deb Morse. Deb,
Hi.
If you want to sit down at the end of the table, I guess, introduce yourself and
Hi,
tell
my
us
name
what's
is-
going on.
My name is Deb Morse. I'm with Hebrew Senior Life, and I'm here really for 2 reasons. One is to thank you because of your support for our deeply affordable senior housing community. The Healy Driscoll administration has awarded us the resources that we requested so that we can move forward with the project. It was quite a long shot. And I really do think that the deciding factor for the administration was the support that was provided by the town of Stoughton. So I want to start and finish with a thank you to the members of the CPC for all of your assistance during the last couple of years as we were planning for this new team. So thank you. The second reason I'm here tonight, since we started the planning process, costs, specifically construction costs, have escalated beyond anyone's imagination in terms of what you could possibly budget in a contingency. And so, with your permission, we would like to submit an application for some additional CPC resources on September 15th. So we can move forward with the project.
I'll ask a question in regards to how much do you think you may need and what specific costs, if you know them now,
Sure.
do you think are really gonna be?
Sure. So what we're actually, the costs really entirely focus on construction. You know, we're very tightly managing any soft costs associated with the project, and there's really no escalations in those line items at all. There's also no escalation in any fees that Uber Senior Life would be receiving. Because of some of the tariffs and other supply constraints that were just simply not anticipated, our construction costs have escalated between, 6 and 10% over the last couple of years. We're looking today, as we sit here today, we're looking at about a $1.2 million gap. We are looking at lots of different ways to fill that gap, including some value engineering with our architect, and we'll go out to bid for a general contractor. We are squeezing ourselves quite a bit on this. We're looking at potentially leasing instead of buying solar panels. We're going through every line item in the development budget to fill that gap. What we'd like to do is apply to the CPC for $500,000.
Any questions from the committee? Monahan?
Yeah, apologies, but I've forgotten. What did we already commit to this project?
You generously committed and the town meeting approved an allocation of $1.3 million.
Rich?
Deborah, what kind of savings do you anticipate by leasing the solar panels versus?
The cost to purchase the solar panels is about $660,000. So we wouldn't have to spend that money. We would basically give us, not even, we would give up future savings that we would get. So it would be a shame because I think with if we could purchase them and really get those savings, all of our cash flow goes to providing services for residents and seniors from Stoughton who will hopefully come and use the programs that we will be offering there. So we'd like to not have to go to that place. We'd like to be able to buy the solar panels, but it is about $660,000. To be approved.
John Monahan, online?
Yes, just on the topic of the solar panels, that's going to result in, I'm hearing an echo, sorry. That is going to result in operating savings, I assume. Purchasing versus leasing. Are you eligible for smart money incentives on that?
Yes, if we purchase them, we would be eligible for the Smart 3 and cash incentives. And again, any cash that comes to us during operations, we're a nonprofit organization, so the cash really just gets funneled back into our mission of providing services to low-income frail seniors.
So you're saying, but not if they're leased.
If they're leased, what happens is third party puts the solar panels on your roof. They capture all the electricity savings. We don't get that.
Well, you don't lose it all, do you? That's no deal.
I don't think we lose it all. Well, it's still nice to have, we want to be, consistent with what's important to the town of Stoughton. We also want to be released as environmentally sustainable. So even if we don't make a dime, we want to do the right thing and really not have any fossil fuels or use as much renewable energy as possible. And so we might capture some of the savings, but it would be, I think, pretty de minimis.
Well, suffice it to say, the third party's gonna recapture their cost as well as a profit on it, so.
Correct.
They should get, I would think you would get
And I
something.
was just, John, I was just using that as sort of an example of how we're really scrutinizing our development budgets
Yeah.
in order to
Well, I appreciate that.
get the project to work.
Are you putting solar panels over any of the parking?
Not right now, no, it's really just on the roof mounted solar panels.
That's another opportunity.
Yeah, we could look at that, yep.
I did that. That's how I have a bit of insight into this stuff. But so we were lucky enough to get an ARPA grant to pay for ours
Yeah,
back in the day.
is that at the Franklin Park or the Stoneham Zoo?
Stone Zoo.
Stoneham Zoo, okay, yeah.
Okay. What is the total project cost at this point?
We're a bit north of $50 million. For 96 units. So it's a really reasonable, I mean, I know it sounds unbelievable, but believe it or not, it's a reasonable per unit cost, given what it's like to build housing in Massachusetts. Where the building is going to be beautiful, it's going to be very environmentally sustainable. It really respects the fact that it's adjacent to a wetland, and it will have, the units will be really functional and very attractive to the people who live there. And the community space on the first floor is exactly the right kind of community space that we've heard that seniors in Stoughton are sort of looking for. So we're not doing anything extravagant. It's just that literally, like, the cost of this, the building materials has just escalated. And, you know, we need to now buy most of the materials in America as opposed to, for example, Canada, and that's adding a premium, and the supply issues associated with that. So we're just trying to navigate those waters.
I will say the committee's very cognizant of the escalation in construction costs. We've been dealing with it on a number of things.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the committee?
I would just say, yeah,
I was gonna say, Barry, the one issue we should address is the timing of this now.
right, that's what I was going to speak to.
I'll let you speak to it then.
Yeah, because technically the pre-app deadline is passed, I would do an urgent review. I would submit pre-app, which is probably the simplest part of it, urgent review, and full app by September 15th. The other two can be sooner than that.
All three of them,
Yeah,
even the PREA,
I would, just to cover all the bases.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that might be hard for us to do by September 15th.
Well, but the pre-app is pretty simple.
Okay, all right, we'll
Barry
work
will
that.
work with you. The pre-app and the urgent request are not a big deal to
Okay,
fill
well,
out.
It's the full app is the big deal.
Yeah, no, we're in the midst of it now.
Yeah.
So, okay, we will work on that.
Let me put it this way. What's in the full app will pretty much be the things that are in the pre-app and the urgent review.
Okay.
The only difference is the urgent review says, what is the urgency?
Right,
That's the only question that
Okay.
isn't addressed, I believe.
okay,
And not to sound overly bureaucratic, it's as much for us to cross the Ts and dot the
Of course,
Is
no,
and show that we're going through this same process. There's a reason this came up late.
yeah,
And
I totally
I know.
respect that, yeah.
okay, do we need to do anything further then for?
No, we'll schedule you, for our next meeting, which is October 8th, if you'd like,
October what?
October 8th.
Be it. Not the first one.
No, the first one is Zoom before.
So we did the second.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay,
Dan.
thank you so much.
All right.
Nice to see you all.
Yep.
Thank you. Next up, we have the Stoughton Motel conversion.
Hey, Ron.
Introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is John Lanham with Product Built in Mainspring. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys about the Stoughton Motel conversion. I know you have the report in front of you. I think the highlights for us is that the project kicked off in March 2025, and that at this point, we're about 60% of the way through construction. So that includes, most of the exterior work that's being done on the back of the buildings, all of the rough mechanicals, installation, sheet rocks, cabinetry, all of that's done. We are continuing to work on the front of the building right now, mostly on the balcony and the roof for exterior work, and then finishing up the siding out there. So currently we are on track to finish the project our contractor is telling us December 2025, but I think we're giving ourselves till February 2026 to complete the project. So we're actually, knock on wood, ahead of schedule, which is not something, we want to put out there too much, but we're excited that like things are moving along really well with this project. I think the one area that is potentially a holdup for us at the moment is just with the site utilities. So we have been going back and forth with National Grid on what type of transformer we would need for the property, whether it was pad mounted or pole mounted. Even going back and forth with their team, they agree that a pole mounted transformer would be best, which is good because those are much easier to get. The challenge now is that we need the pole that's in front of the motel right now needs to be replaced. So that means we need an easement from National Grid Legal Department. We then need a different approval from the part of National Grid that puts the pole in, and then a different group that mounts the transformer. So trying to get all three groups to work with the timelines is just something we're really just pushing as much as we can to make sure that that stays with the timeline we have for the project right now. If anyone has any pull with National Grid or has relationships, yeah,
I don't know if that exists.
I have worked with them before in another incarnation. And
Yeah.
the trick is to just stay on.
Yeah, and that's thankfully like the contractor has been on them regularly and they've been good to work with certainly, but we know that there's just a lot of projects that they have going on and getting multiple departments lined up is always a bit of a challenge. But yeah, we're really excited about this project. As just as a quick reminder, the city or the town was really generous to donate or to provide $250,000 towards this project. It's about $10.5 million of the total project overall for 24 units of housing.
Okay, questions? John Linehan.
Big mouth. I was just wondering what kind of escalation you guys went through in your project.
So early on in the project, we certainly were trying to get a lot of the materials on site as soon as we could. So by starting in March, we knew the contractor back in January. So we were certainly worried about tariffs and like prices going up. So thankfully we were able to get many of those pieces on site early. So we set aside about a $285,000 contingency for overages. We're at about 300,000 of overages for the project right now with all of the change orders that have been put in place. Some of that is because of decisions we just made internally. We initially thought we'd be able to reuse some of the existing bathrooms that were there, and just in looking at the plumbing that was on site and the materials, it just made sense for us to fully refurnish all of the bathrooms. So that was about $100,000 to do an additional 8 more that we weren't originally anticipating. We also are getting a larger generator than we originally kind of anticipated. So that was an additional cost that we just decided made more sense for us to take on for the project.
I do remember you ordered as much as could.
Yeah.
You ordered the materials right at the very beginning,
Yeah,
knowing that tariffs were likely to hit shortly.
And we're definitely seeing the same concerns with some of our other projects in other communities. The bidding is coming in much, much higher for projects now than we anticipated for some of our original expectations. The Canadian lumber piece is really challenging. I mean, that's generally where a lot of our lumber had been coming from. It's sourcing it and finding the pricing has been pretty difficult.
Any other questions from the committee?
I have a comment. You did a nice interview with Round Town with Dave Walker.
I haven't seen that. No, I haven't seen that.
Again, it's another nice interview by Dave Walsh, who does interviews about positive things.
Yeah, we really appreciate him coming by. I did not realize how long the episode was going into it, but it was a lot of fun walking him around the property. And I think he's going to try to come back out sometime December, January when it's almost done, just so we can show the finished product. It'd be great.
Likewise, just riding by it back and forth.
Yeah.
It's nice to see all the work going on and something coming of that building, so.
We've been really pleased with this contractor, just great to work with, really good quality work. So we've been excited to work with them.
Anything else we need, Barry?
I think that's it.
Okay, appreciate
I'm
it. Thank you,
glad to hear
John.
the project's ahead of schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
Next up, we have the Hanson School Playground. Dennis? Again, if you could introduce yourself to the audience and give us the highlights.
So Dennis Rico, Director of Facilities and Grounds for the Stone Public Schools. Beside me, I have also Christine Feeney, Principal of the Hanson School. So just want to give you an update on the playground. So work has started. It was a little bit of a delay getting started due to the spring weather, a lot of rain, pushed back the installer from being able to do the work that they had to do. It's actually something that I was encountering with a lot of vendors, being able to do certain jobs that things that kind of pushed back due to the weather. But the removal, the playground has been removed, the old playground, and digging of the ground prep work has already started and still ongoing. We're kind of close to being done with that piece. One of the things that came up during the digging and the prep work was there was some safety concerns with the white pines that were there, and we had to remove them. So the white pines are shallow rooted trees. In order to prep the site, we had to dig up many of the roots, kind of destabilizing. It was weakening the stability of the trees. And with them tilting a little bit already towards the playground, we thought it was best to kind of remove them. One of the things we are gonna do though, we are gonna plant 5 new trees. We're gonna do 3 sugar maples, which give a nice color in the fall, and 2 maple Norways, which is like more of a purple color leaf. They're deep rooted, so there's no impact to the playground. When we plant them, they're gonna range in the size of 7 to 8 feet tall, and with the right conditions, they can grow to 3 to 4 feet annually, which is nice. What's good is within a few years, they'll be taller and have a thicker trunk. And one of the things I was talking with DPW is, because it's a maple tree, there's actually a learning opportunity where we can show the students how to tap a maple tree and get sap out of it and make maple syrup and everything like that. So it actually worked out well that we had to remove them for safety purposes, but there's also a learning opportunity down the road for us. So the next steps, and it's very close to being at this step, is the stone sub base, which needs to be installed. And that takes a little bit of time because there has to be certain levels based on what equipment's going where. Some has to be like 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches. After that is the flex ground poured in place surfacing. Once that's cured, which is a 72-hour period, then we can install a playground. That shouldn't take too long after that because we don't have crazy equipment that's going to take forever. So,
Oh, great. It's exciting to see it.
and we're well in the budget too, so which is good. So even though we're
Always music to my ears.
And the equipment that you need is all,
yeah, everything's there. Everything's there. Yeah, yeah, because we had ordered that last year. The only downfall for last year was we had the 26 week lead time.
yes.
But we have all the equipment there, so everything's good to go. Ready to work. Get everything done.
And projected completion date at this point?
I'm hoping end of September, but depending on the weather, could push it a couple of weeks. Hopefully, there's not like a lot of rain or anything like that. So the pouring surface is the part where we have to be really careful because if the weather drops a lot, we have to wait for the temperature to go back up to make sure that we can lay it and make sure it maintains a good stability over time.
Very good.
Any questions, concerns from the committee?
I have a question. And you said you were taking down, how many trees?
There were 5 trees. We took them already down.
Replacing them with
Maple trees, yeah, which are deep rooted.
1 for
So
1, basically.
yeah, 1 for 1, yeah. And we're gonna spread them out a little bit better too, so it gives better shade throughout the whole playground.
Good.
So,
Okay, great. Thank you, Dennis and company.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
So it's like-
Thank you. It's exciting. I can't wait to see it.
Yes.
Next up, we have Halloran Sports Court. Mr. Kashan.
Good evening, I'm Howard Shawn, Expedition Director. This is an update on the Halloran Sport Court. I believe last time I was here was in June. So since then, the post-tension court has been poured. That was poured, I believe, the second week of July. There was a little bit of delay on that due to the weather. Any chance of rain, they had called off and pushed us about a week. Since then, the court's been sandblasted, all the drainage has been done. A couple weeks ago, they did all the sidewalks leading into the court. It looks really nice. We've had the delays that we've been having are just waiting on like subcontractors to come out. I have been in constant contact with the project manager about 2 to 3 times a week. And from this morning, I'll read you word for word what I got from her. For an update, board install will start at 9/9 and go through Friday of next week. We're scheduling the seal coating coloring to start the week of 9/15 and be completed the same week. We're also install the fencing toward the end of the week of 9/15 and into the beginning of the week of 9/22. We're planning to give the site back to the town by 9/24. I'll keep you posted as we finalize the schedule coming up. I have made clear to her about a month ago that we do a stone day coming up on 9/27, and we'd really like to have that site open for that to show up to the public. So they're really pushing for that. like all the materials are on site, all the big work has been done. It's really just waiting on the subcontractors to come out. They want the supplier of the boards to be out there while they install it. So it's really just waiting on their scheduling so they can make sure it's done right. And then scheduling the company to come out and paint the court. So they've been out there, they've just been cleaning up the site, getting it prepped and ready. Things are moving, there's no money issues, nothing really major, it's really just been waiting on some contractors to come out and get the job done, but we are very, very close, and I encourage anyone to get there. Just go down and look at the site, it looks really cool after they did all the sidewalks, stuff like that, it's really just like shaping into the spot, and looks really cool, so I'm very excited, and hopefully everything stays on schedule with the potential of showing it off come Stoughton Day. I have the CPC sign on order. So it's large, it's like 12 by 18 sign. So that'll be up right as when I can install it. That's all I have.
Great, exciting. Any questions? Amongst the committee? Mr. Linehan? You're on mute.
I just have to say that earlier today, between you and DPW, you got high praise for the maintenance of the existing playgrounds, and it reflected very positively on the town of Stoughton, but to an out-of-towner. So
Okay.
just the impact of some of these improvements on the town as a whole and how it's viewed.
Love to hear that.
That's great. Okay, thank you, Matt. Nothing
See
else?
you guys soon.
Right, thanks for coming in.
Move on. Update on Atkinson Ave is Jerry.
Jerry's not here, but he did send an update. If I can find it, just bear with me.
Yeah, it was in the package. I did read that last.
It was in the package.
Last night.
Find it quickly, I will. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. I guess everyone can see that. There we go. All right, so I'll go over this very briefly. Parking area is done, the guardrail and the gates are installed. The next thing they're gonna do is design the trailhead, which will take people from the parking area into the Goulston property. And that will be over the winter. Jerry likes to work in the winter, and more power to him. I mean, he's not doing it himself, he's doing it himself. Anybody have any questions? All right, as soon as I can. And he says he's between 50 and 75% complete, hopes to complete it by next August.
That's great to see him moving along as well, so.
Yeah, great.
Any comments from other committee members? Questions? Great. Let's keep flying here. We have an update on the old Stoughton Music Society storage equipment from Ed Quigley. Which is much good news of closing out the project.
Well,
I'll let Ed cover that.
first of all, good evening, everyone, and thank you for your support. We thought we were going to be able to close out tonight, but
Okay, that's,
we're not going to be able to, and I'll explain why.
okay.
First of all, we're the Old Stoughton Musical Society, not Music Society,
I'm sorry, okay.
but that's our official title.
Yeah. No, that's,
And all invoices are not in. We have one, the very last order that we have, which is for the file folders. The people on vacation, we thought they would be back. I was up there today. They're not back from vacation. So as soon as they're in, I mean, we're talking about south of $62. That's it. So other than that, everything is done. What happened is that last time when we found the file rods to put in the big horizontal cabinet, vertical cabinets, we didn't have the hanging file folders to put all the music in. And now we can, I mean, we got so much music into what we had that we now have the last bit to get in, and we have no more cardboard boxes, no more old wooden crates. Everything will be in a metal, safe, fireproof, waterproof, above flood level cabinet. So the only thing, as I said, is that those last hanging file folders, and then we're done.
That's great.
And thank you to everyone here, and through you to the members of town meeting for supporting this. If you could come up with a way to kind of double the floor space we have no more room. Even if we wanted to buy more cabinets, we have no place we could put them. So it's made a big difference, and we really appreciate it. We've actually found things we had heard rumors we owned, and now found that we actually do have them, and save us from ordering music that Legend has, we already had, and we actually did find it over the last couple of weeks going through things. And thank you to the Historical Society for being patient with us, being in and out all the time to do work when people are free. But again, thank you to everyone, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I would think you can, we can close out the project with that last invoice. I think you,
Yeah, within Munis, once they create the encumbrance, it doesn't matter if that last invoice is in and paid. They can go ahead and close the project and then it will get paid when it comes in, but we're talking days, probably a week. So
Right.
we'll proceed as if it's closing, because we'd like to get it. I think we have it as one of the closings at
it is.
town meeting coming up, so. Nothing you need to do really there, other than get your files. and-
I was hoping I'd be able to say,
Yeah.
we've got everything in, and it's we're good to go.
Well, you do, you just,
You've got everything
As close
done.
as we can be without actually having it in our hands.
We're certainly not gonna worry about the piece of paper. We know there'll be an invoice and the town will get it paid.
it's nice
That
to
should
see,
be not your concern.
Okay,
it's nice
thank
to
you.
see a project come to completion.
Yes.
And we really appreciate
Yeah.
all your efforts in making sure that, I mean, you know, you save the town some money by using secondhand cabinets in some cases rather than buying new. So we appreciate
You did
that.
everything right. You kept us fully informed all the way through, and it's just nice. I mean, it's a small expenditure for the town.
Great job, Ed.
Well, small
The town's
expenditure for
money,
you, it's
but-
a big expenditure for us.
And it's great to see
Greatly
that not only
appreciate
you appreciate it, but you're getting a tremendous benefit out of it.
Yep.
I mean, that's what we have for.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right.
okay. Update on historic site signs, White McCarran.
Oh, not as far along as we'd like to be, but since the last project, we have accumulated more pictures and the content that we need for the captions, but we have not gotten to the stage yet where we have the pictures with the contents edited as they're supposed to be. We've had another major project going on at the society, finding a date for every historical date for every day in the year for a historical calendar. We're trying to get ready for the 300th. But my hope is still that we're progressing and that we will have those signs in the ground by the time snow flies.
Okay, that sounds good. If you need, I can look up the date I moved into town, if you need that on your calendar.
Yeah,
We
an
want-
exact date would be there, and the date you're leaving, sometimes we can't find the date when something started, but if we find out the date that it ended, we use that one, so.
That's still TBD, but coming close. Okay, any questions for Dwight? Any? Okay, and then Rich, Cape and Reynolds?
Yes. I missed the last meeting, being on vacation, but nothing has changed since the June meeting. we're about 99% completed. The contractor has to come back and repair some pavements and one parking areas, and also remove the erosion control things around the property. In addition to that, I did try to get some information, but a lot of people were on vacation last week and still to this week through Fran Brunetti in procurement and Nick Fran, who's the engineer on the project. He's been on vacation too. So the only thing I don't know is, and I'm sure it's already been encumbered, is the last payment once the punch list is completed by the contract. I don't know what that figure is. We have a figure of 69,000, I think, according to Barry, on the most current funding that we have. We're hoping that with the balance on that funding, which came from 2023 town meeting, that we use some of it to make some increase the parking and make some repairs, make a better guardrail in the lower parking lot, where one person drove into the trash can, knocked it off its pins, and a boulder into the rain garden. So engineering is working on that, and I got a word back from Nick Dufresne in engineering that they are putting those schedules, diagrams together. They have been extremely busy with a lot of projects around town, so plus vacation time. So I can't give you a complete answer, but we haven't changed. Nothing's gone backwards. So
I did make it down without my dog, actually. I went and visited after our last meeting, and the new shelter thing looked great.
yes, the rain, I call them rain pavilions. They're basically like shelters at a bus stop.
Yeah.
And that was funded through the Stanford
That extra
Foundation.
money, yeah.
They said we were eligible for another $12,500. Could we use the money? We said yes, and then we figured out how to use it. And again, the contractors that have been doing the whole project came in and installed it for less than what they originally asked for, because Brent Bruton is such a good procurement officer. He said, guys, I need a better price, and they helped. So they are really nice. They're reused recycled plastic, have no maintenance requirements, and they almost match the gazebo in style and color. So we're very fortunate in that as well. We had one little incident last week. Someone, I think a person trying to do good, came in. Some of our garden plots are not occupied, and a lot of weeds have grown up. And someone came in with a weed whacker and cleaned it all out, including the gardens that were occupied with tomatoes and vegetables. But they didn't take out the flower beds that were donated by Central Florists as a pollination garden. So after thinking about this, I don't think it was a malicious act. If it was, they would have taken the flowers out too. I went and spoke directly to the people whose vegetable gardens were affected. And initially, we thought that someone on the grounds crew, because they were there that week, last Wednesday, had done that inadvertently. But speaking with the manager of the grounds crews, he said their people are all full-time employees, not summer help, because they use machinery. Summer help doesn't use machinery. And they are instructed explicitly, do not touch a community garden, either at the community council on aging or at the Cape Farm. So our only conclusion is someone who's trying to do good maybe and didn't know the difference between weeds and plants. And in the meantime, that prompted me to search for remote cameras that are cellular connected, not Wi-Fi, that I think we can put down there and put a sign up as well, so that God forbid something happens, we can at least track it a little better. That's my report. Any questions?
Any questions? Hearing none?
I just say again, thank you for all your work on this.
Here, here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Second.
Rich, you've done a great job on this project.
Absolutely.
Oh, one last thing. I was questioned by one of our town meeting reps the day I was investigating the weed whacking incident, and she thought, this place never gets used. Every time I drive by here, my husband drives by here, we don't see anybody. Well, I have no way of tracking the usage, and I figured the only way I could do that, other than videotape everybody who walked in, is the trash cans take about, one of the trash cans in the dog park takes about a week to be filled, and it's quite heavy. So I think when it gets a little cooler, I'm gonna go there, we'll extract 8 or 9 or 10 poop bags, weigh them, and weigh the whole thing and come up with an estimate. I don't know how else to do it. Anybody have any suggestions? I'm welcome.
I think we gotta come up with something else, but
Yeah,
we'll work on it.
If you wanna do that, Rich, go for it, but I mean,
But I was really, I was taken aback by this angry comment, and I said, this place gets used a lot. It's just very random.
Right.
yeah, well, people get it, I mean, every time I've been there, since it's open, I mean, I used to get on before it opened.
So I
It wasn't
was
anything,
hurt
But
by
there's not a lot of people, but there's people that enjoy, and they love it.
That's true. And people work during the day.
Yeah,
Some
and then when
people
someone
work
gets the
late
break and they get out
schedules,
with the dog.
They're on vacation, some are vacation, so, yeah, I always go by anyway.
So we have to come up with a better way to determine traffic.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe if there's some inexpensive counter you can put on the gate to the outer, that counts every time the gate is open and closed.
Signage sheet.
Yeah.
Signage sheet.
Well, just trying to keep it simple, just a counter that clicks how many times
Anything
that gate
other than that
opens.
idea.
Anyhow, that's it.
Okay, great, thanks, Rich. Okay, next up on new business, and as with the project updates, we have a boatload of new business. It's great to see this coming in. I'm gonna make the same request, maybe a little more important for some of these, that people get a chance, but as a reminder, keep to the highlights that the purpose of the pre-applications that we're reviewing is to determine eligibility and interest. We don't need the full rundown because you'll all be back. I mean, people will be back for a complete presentation of the project over the next couple of months. So,
Yeah, if I could say just briefly, the purpose of the pre-app is to answer, I think, two basic questions. Number one, does it qualify for CPA funding? And number two, is this something we have an interest in going forward with?
And it's a step designed really for efficiency on behalf of the applicant so that you're not filling out a full application and doing all kinds of work to find out that it's not eligible or that there isn't really that much interest. So there will be more time, but at the same time, I don't want to cut anybody short. Anything that's really important about the project, we want to hear about, and I'm sure the committee will ask. So first up, we have Mr. Stagnon, John Stagnon for the State Theater. We got a very thorough and impressive application, John, so.
Yeah,
I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us about it.
thank you, John Stagnoni for the Friends of the State Theater. As Michael was alluding to, we did send you a lot of information in, and that's what the pre-application, I was like, wow, that's a lot of information about the pre-application, but, a lot of it hopefully will go, if we move forward, then you'll be able to use it in the full application. So just a little quick background. Friends of the State Theater is established as a nonprofit. We're established in 2013 with our mission to bring back this former State Theater in the Stoughton Center. Why we are here talking more about just the theater, but we also, for us, this is more than just trying to save a building. This is also economics, drivers for the downtown and economic activity for the downtown. As part of the package we gave you, provided to you, there was also 10 reasons from the American arts on why government should, supports the arts and using, local funds and things. So, I can just quickly go down and it's the arts for the people that are not here. Is arts for the strengthen the economy, arts drive revenue to local businesses, arts unify the communities, and strengthens mental health and well-being. Arts culture or tourism drivers, arts improves academic performances, arts spark creativity and innovation, social impacts, healthcare, and health and well-being of military. There was also a second thing on economic, about what the arts and using, it's called Speak Policy Briefs. It goes into some of the things, talks about cultural legacies is one of the other additions. And the arts improves the impact of other local policies and services. Small businesses and individual entrepreneurs are critical to every economy. The arts make communities vibrant, welcoming, and desirable. The arts are a hallmark of innovation. So those are the reasons. So like I said, our whole premise from day one was not just about trying to save a building. As beautiful as our building is, we see this as an economic engine for the downtown, bring change that we probably all have heard from the residents that they would like to see in the downtown. Because right now our downtown after 5 o'clock kind of just goes to sleep. We have a lot of the businesses aren't open after 5 o'clock. The town, and we have a lot of town offices and things in the downtown, which are also closed after 5 o'clock. So we see this as a great economic engine. We see a lot of other communities investing in the arts as well. We recently been talking to the folks from the Hanover Theater. They had contacted us a few months ago. We had a few phone conversations and Zoom meetings. And just a couple of weeks ago, we had the CEO and the head of their public relations and stuff out to Stoughton. We did a site visit. We took them to dinner at Avocados. We continued our conversation about their interest in the theater and being part of this. They said they would be happy to be a resource for us. They also have an interest in operations of the theater if we get to that point. So we also recently have talked to the folks at the Cabot. They're up in Beverly. They have renovated their theater recently again. They originally did some work back in 2013, 2014. They have seen a huge turnaround and impact to their downtown as well as around the Hanover Theater. If anybody's watching, the Caesarean down in New Bedford is now going through a $35 million renovation. That building is owned by the city, leased to the Caesarean, a nonprofit, to operate it. The Caesarean was receiving, they received from the city some opera money. They received state funds to the tune of about $7 million. And they did other fundraising and things like that. So they're well underway. They're getting ready to reopen their doors. But they're making that big investment in for the exact same reasons we think Stoughton would benefit from having a restored theater. It's all about economics. It's all about community. It's all about, what theaters bring to the community and the added value. So that's, some of the things that why we're doing it, what our application's about, and we'd be happy to answer any questions at this point.
Any questions from the committee? John?
What are we now looking at for a total project cost?
Right now, it's estimated about 16 million.
And what are you looking for from the CPC?
It's 2 million being broken down as part of it. 1 million where we haven't figured out, what the logistics will be, but our first thoughts are 1 million towards the purchase. And then 1 million would be towards restoration if we're successful in getting the purchase. And I don't know what the policy has changed, that we need a purchase and sales agreement. But at this point, anybody that knows anything about real estate, you don't go to the table and say, hey, without proof of funds, just try to make an offer to people. So the theater is up for sale. It's on, it's listed. The owner's right now currently trying to sell all 3 of his properties.
You know how much he's asking for?
4 million.
So how much?
4 million.
He's got it listed for $4 million. So what you have it listed for and what you get is 2 different things, as anybody knows.
I'm sorry, Don, for the 2 million, you said 1 million for the purchase, and what was the other?
1 million towards restoration.
Restoration, thank you.
So And, you know, one of the things, you know, there's different ways of breaking it up. I guess right now this is very preliminary. We would borrow the different monies using the rents from the tenants to fund anything above the 1 million. We were originally thinking that the purchase price would be 1.6 million, somewhere in that area, just for the theater block. Because, you know, we were looking at it as recently the owner was actually getting prices to demo the theater and make it a parking lot. And, you know, so if this, and at that point, he was at like $500,000 was one of the estimates to tear it down. So I'm not sure if that changed his mind and he listed, and that's why it's for sale. But right now that's where we're at.
Any market appraisals that you're aware of that justify that $4 million?
Not that I'm aware of. No. I've done some math myself and I couldn't get to 4 million, but that's, like I said, that's here and there, because until we can actually have money to go and start talking about a purchase, we don't know. So,
In a similar vein, the timetable, because obviously this is the pre-application to determine if there's enough interest to move forward, but approval doesn't come until next May.
yeah.
So you don't have any money until July 1st, I guess.
Yeah, and just to, you know, go back is, you know, we have, besides filing here, we've filed a grant with Bank of America. We won't hear from them until the end of September, probably. We've also done other avenues of trying to get the funding. I can't disclose those right now, but we're trying different sources. Just because, you know, what we thought was going to be more of an urgency because of the demolition, and the town has the demolition bylaw, but with the building being for sale, it probably makes it a little more easier to talk to him about a sale than if he really wasn't considering sale, but
Question. Can that demolition bylaw be invoked on this building? Is it 75 years old?
yeah, it'll be 100 in 2027.
Does it have historical value based on Dwight's valuation?
Well, the historical commission has found it historically significant to the community, but, you know, some people say, well, you've been doing this a while, but, you know, we actually only been doing it for 3 years, because Bostonian Nominee Trust actually bought the building in 2016, we were established in 2013. We raised a fair amount of money through different avenues. One of the first things we did was bought the blueprints, we stabilized the building, repairing roofs and parapet walls, removed all the non-original items, removed all the hazardous waste materials, asbestos and everything else that was in the building that we knew of. We had renderings done by our Wilson and Butler architects, who does a lot of historical restoration. They were actually the architects on the Zazarian down in Fall River. We did a business plan, economic study, and a code review of the building, all in those 3 years. And like I said, unfortunately, we ended up in a legal battle with the owner because he didn't like my lease of 30 years and 20 years rent free. And then on top of that, then you had COVID and so on. And like I said, it's not that we ever gave up. It's just that circumstances just never were there. And I think, I don't know if anybody's noticed or seen, there's just been a recent study that was done by the Mass Cultural Council and another group at the direction of the governor, because the governor is big on the arts. They've funded Mass Cultural grants or whatever significantly. They're also looking at tax credits scenarios and some other things for the arts. So the governor has been very supportive of the arts, and it might be this could be an opportunity for us. One of our biggest thing is, we're not a gateway city and we're not a Beverly or anybody else. So it's a little more of a challenge, and I some people may not really understand that, but like I said, we haven't given up yet, and I think we still think it's a worthwhile project, and we think it'd be a real win for the town if we actually could succeed.
John Lenahan, you have your hand up?
Yes,
John?
am I muted? No.
Oh, we can hear you.
I was just, I thought I heard you say you already did asbestos removal or hazardous waste removal?
Yeah, so all the, like I said, we took all the Knox originals to the theater out because that's part of the League of Historical Theaters handbook is to stabilize the building and then, take out anything that's not original. So the original boiler was wrapped in asbestos. The curtain that was the movie screen was actually asbestos too, because that's a fire curtain. So for back in the day, so those items were all removed, and then there was asbestos on the pipes that led up to the heating and stuff like that. So we had hired a local contractor to remediate all that, and, took all that out.
Wow. Was that premature?
Well, it's just part of, nobody anticipated an owner to come in, the building to go up for sale in the first place. And then end up with an owner who, not, doesn't care, So either way, he just, then on top of this, the theater is still part of the town's master plan, and the downtown plan.
So I know it's part of your, and it's probably something you don't want to disclose publicly, but I just have to ask, what would you actually offer for the theater?
Again, it's hard to say. Like I said in the application, we were originally figuring 1.6. We don't know where that is today or whatever, because he paid 1.45 back in 2016. So that's where we were leaning towards, but based on his price right now, he's leaning up over 2 million, I would suspect, because the other two buildings aren't worth $1 million each. So the theater is what draws the price back down, in my opinion. I do real estate stuff, and I've been doing a lot of number crunching on this lately. So, especially to try to be prepared for some questions for tonight.
Thank you.
Just ask-
Go ahead, Jerry.
No, I was gonna say, you said that having a theater drives the price down. Can you give me
Well,
a 2-sentence explanation about that? Is?
Condition of the building being as much work as it needs.
Okay, so it's not any theater per se, it's that.
Yeah, no, it's just that because the building is unoccupied and it's not rentable, so.
I misunderstood.
Assuming,
Because
John,
it's a big building, so, and if it was able to, even if it was used for another use besides the theater, it would be, bring in some revenue.
assuming you don't succeed in what you're trying to do here, it's gonna cost somebody $500,000 to demolish the building. So that kind of takes away from the value.
Exactly, yeah, and, we've talked to the owner several times, and I just, when I talked to him, that's how I found out about the demolition. I seen a bunch of contractors in there, and I went down and talked to him, and stuff, so he was pretty open, we had a good conversation or whatever. But at that time, he didn't, say he was putting it on the market. I don't know if he made a decision, after he got prices or not. So,
Anything else? Right.
Well, I mean, just to review the history, which, some of us on the CDC have gone through. Before there was a plan to redo the theater, we were very sympathetic, but expressed skepticism that we just didn't think the money could be come up with. So we put in, what was it, $500,000, which was going to be the last money in.
I think it was
550, I believe, yeah.
550. Well, I don't know what to say other than I still have, I'm skeptical that the huge amount of money needed to do it is out there. I mean, I can't see it. So I want to be supportive of the concept, but given our past experience and any other plausible thing that I can think of where $15 million or 14, if we put some in, is going to appear, I can't see it. So that's all I have to say. I'd like to be supportive, but as John Morton would say, we don't think it can happen.
yeah, and to that, I'd say, well, the Caesarean just raised 35 million. Beverly just raised the money. it's, you know, if we all are pulling in the same direction, I think we can do it, you know. Right now, that's what we need to do, you know, and I understand that, you know, that it's been a while, but you know what, if you do the research, it's taken people 20-something years to get to the end game. But I think as a community, if we decide this is what we want to do, and, you know, and as the community would be town meeting, we voted either up or down. And if it's voted down, then it's dead, because unless we get the money somewhere else. I did play Powerball tonight, so hopefully that'll end it. But,
If you win, John, this is all on you.
yeah.
You'll be able to afford it.
I
There's no
gotta
question.
check with my wife to see if she's.
Get that in writing quick.
To echo what both of you are saying is I fully agree and understand. I think we all love the idea and understand the economic benefit to the town if we really could get this to where you want it to be. But it's a big nut. It's a much bigger nut than when we did it the first time around.
Yeah, well.
To
this
get
is
where
the
you want to
first-
go, I think, and you kind of said it, the whole community, your group alone is not going to get us there if you don't have the buy-in and support of town management, obviously the town meeting and the CPC coming into play.
Yeah, and you know, the difference between what we had previously was money for a restoration. Because at the time, we all thought having a 30-year lease was, you know, we always were told that a long-term lease would be the same as owning it. But what we ran into, and we ran it at town meeting as well as other places, people say, why are we investing in somebody else's property? And the only way, and so, you know, getting control of the building is the first step. And then from there, we can move forward, you know, it's the way to move forward. And, you know, again, if you read all the material that I sent to you, we talk about the matrix and how, you know, the process we would follow, things, how we would get things, you know, try to get things done. And then if the theater is open, we talked about, you know, the metrics to see about success and everything else. And also, you know, at this point, if we are able to get the money, Cloft has, you know, a significant amount of money where we can actually hire a staff person to do this, because, you know, it's just more than beyond volunteers. So we probably be looking to hire somebody to help with a full-time person to do the fundraising and public relations and all that stuff. So.
Any other comments, questions? I think it's safe to say, Barry, it's eligible.
Oh, yes.
We were willing to provide money years ago. John Linehan? Muted. John.
Muted.
He's consistent.
Apologies again.
That's okay.
I got kicked off. I'm very supportive, as I think Dwight said, but I feel like with the taxpayers' money, we cannot be too upfront with purchase price with all that renovation yet to do.
I guess, John, I also look at that as there's not going to be a big appetite at town meeting to buy a building for $1 million or $1.6 million or $2 million without an almost concrete plan of what's going to happen, where the next 13 or 14 million is going to come from.
Better said than I did. Thank you.
But the question for us here tonight is there enough of an appetite to let John Stagnoni take on that challenge that between now and May, he's going to get all the right players in Stoughton on board to get us there? I mean, is it worth another shot?
Yeah,
And I
but
think John outlined that.
are we committing $1 million?
We're not committing anything until May.
I understand that, but oh,
Right.
I guess
Million, he's just asking whether, would we approve even to go forward for the 2
Yeah.
million?
I get it. Thank you.
I think we're saying the same thing then.
Right.
Is there an appetite amongst the committee tonight to let John take this challenge and to work with him to try to get there?
Yeah, I mean,
I think
the
that's
reality
question.
is it puts a lot of pressure on John to find the follow-up money that goes beyond purchase price. I mean, it starts with purchase price, but to go beyond that, to not have us say we have our own doubts.
You know, like I said, you know, one of the challenges is we tech by law, but we can't legally go and fundraise for a building we don't own. We don't have control of it. That's what our attorney had told us, and that's why basically fundraising efforts had stopped. And, you know, so here, you know, this could be the opportunity. Like I said, you know, it's a decision we as a community have to make. Other communities have invested in it. And if Stoughton's decision is no, then that's, you know, what we, you know, we'll live with. But if, you know, I think it's a worthwhile project. I think it's worth the effort. I think we all need to just be on the same page if possible. And that's the only way it's gonna get done. Friends of the State Theater can't do it by ourselves. You know, so, but like I said, the other communities have supported it. I don't know how much ARPA money was put in by New Bedford. Like I said, the state money was $7 million. So, you know, up as part of the 35 million. And they've been raising their money in just over a year, I believe it was.
And I think a lot of the answers to those questions need to be more cemented in place by May, not necessarily tonight.
Yeah.
But, and it's a big challenge. I know you've been up to it because you've been trying to do this for a long time. And as a resident, I certainly appreciate all the efforts because I can envision the benefit if it happens.
Well, I envision the downtown, how much it'll change, you know, as I see, you know, and again, Norwood is another prime example of the change. The Cabot just did $10 million in renovations as well. So, you know, it's ongoing. There is money. Well, Massachusetts happens to be a wealthy state. It's just, you know, you gotta go get into doorways and we need people to open doors for us. So, but, you know, nobody's gonna open up a door for something that you don't own. So that's the kind of the catch we're at.
So Barry, if we're done with questions, comments, should we take a vote?
Yeah, we need to take a vote about whether we move this forward.
Whether we move forward to a full application and in effect, give John more time? All agreeing, and I think John's not downplaying. John understands this is a challenge. But it's a good step in the right direction if he at least starts with some support here. If you don't have that, I think there's probably nothing, so.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to get out of this. So if somebody wants to make a motion one way or the other, then
I'll make a motion that we continue.
that we approve the pre-application.
Yes.
I mean, this isn't a vote to go to town meeting yet. That comes after the application. This is just to go that next step and buy a little bit of time is I guess the way I
I'll
put
second
it.
that.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree.
any discussion? Okay, with that, hearing none, I will take a vote, start in the room. Rich,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Clarice,
Yes.
Dwight,
Well, I think no, I don't want to vote yes, so I abstain.
okay, Don Brady,
Yes.
John Lenahan,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hopefully I can get that application finalized for you. I'm on vacation right now before that. so.
John,
And certainly,
you have to do more than get the application finalized.
yeah, well.
You got your hands full and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I look for things a week before the meeting starts, so our next meeting is October 8th, so it'll be by.
You got a couple extra weeks there, but.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a little past the 15th?
Yeah.
Like I said,
I'm sorry, you're right, I'm sorry, I take that back, right before I take back everything I just said, the full applications are due September 15th.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, because I'm leaving.
New procedure this year.
Yes, I got a few days.
All right, thank you again. Thank you.
Okay, John.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, next up. Supplemental funding for vital records. Do we, Reggie,
I don't know if Reggie is with us. Reggie, are you?
private caller? I don't know who that is. Not hearing any, we'll skip. And if she gets
Do we
on-
need, procedurally, do we need to know who the private caller is?
Not
It's a
necessarily.
member of the public. It's an open meeting.
Mm.
We don't necessarily ask people in the room who they are, so I'm gonna say I don't think so,
Okay,
but I don't know the answer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, procedurally though, if Reggie is not here, we can either decide to, take a vote about whether to move forward. She's asking for $20,000 to supplement the existing, project. This was already approved. Well, there was a supplement that was
Twice now, but,
approved. I don't have the exact year. It was about 3 or 4 years ago. And that would be short. Because at that time, we thought we had the funding that had been approved a number of years before that. So this would replace the
in
funding
effect, replace
that,
it.
that basically fell off the scoreboard somehow.
Again, clearly eligible because we've put money towards it.
I can get you the exact dates and numbers.
Yeah, I'm not sure I mean, it was like 25 grand back in 2013
It
or
was 20 grand. I
14.
think
It
this is
was,
exactly it. Okay,
uh,
just, okay. In 2023, we approved 35,000.
Yeah.
And at the time, we believed that $20,000, which was approved in 2013, was still available. We later found out that it's not. So this is to replace that $20,000, which we thought we had.
Yeah, and essentially that 20,000 just fell through the cracks in the accounting department.
Right.
Didn't get
Right.
carried from 1 year forward.
Right.
may I
That all
ask,
came up-
has that been returned to our funds?
Yes.
Yeah, it was never taken out.
Available.
So
Okay,
that is available. So, yeah, given that, I will entertain a motion to go ahead and approve the pre-application, and we can let Reggie know to fill out a complete one. Louise is shaking her head,
Yes,
so I'm gonna
I
take that as a
agree.
motion.
There's a motion, that is a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second, I'll second.
Second by Bob. Any discussion? Then we'll take a vote. Reg?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Louise?
Yes.
Dwight?
yes,
Don?
yes,
John?
no, no. She's not here
And
and
the chair votes-
I want to hear what it's for and I don't,
Okay, that's fine. And chair votes yes, so we'll answer that question when she comes back. Okay, Victor Baruza, Cedar Hill First Green renovation.
Good evening. How are you? Victor Baruza, Cedar Hill Golf Course. We, are working on a project on the first hole to expand it as we did the 6th hole, the 9th hole, and everything you guys have done for us. To start off with, Cedar Hill has grown tremendously from my first year here. My first year here, we did 7,000 rounds and $181,000. As we started to grow, get a little more interest, you guys generously helped us out with the 6th hole. Since then, we have grown substantially. Like I said, that was 7,000 rounds. Last year, we did 25,000 rounds. And my first year here, we were $90,000 in the hole with $181,000 brought in. Last month alone, we did $122,000. But last year, we finished out fiscal year with $748,000. So, that was all jump started 100% by you.
So are you talking about gross receipts?
Appreciate it. Yes. Yeah, this is my turnovers to town. This is exactly what I gave them. So, we are 100% self-sustaining. All the equipment that has been purchased for the golf course, the machinery, projects, we've done straight out of retained earnings. I'm going for a slightly bigger project, so I am coming to see you. With this project, the short of it is we're looking to expand the first green. The first green is rather small. All the greens are small, but the first green it's the start of the round. And if it gets slowed up because they hit and they goes from one side to the other side to the other side, the other side to the other side. We've got 10 teams standing at the first tee waiting to get through. And this.
That's me.
It sounds like you're describing my golf game, but
Me too. 100%. But with that, we were looking to expand the green substantially, a better landing zone, better pin placements, to help speed up pace of play, get things moving. And then I've had a couple little ideas since then, but what we're looking for is, the short of it is $250,000. It's looking about a $250,000 to $300,000 project, depending upon if this one part goes through. But the extra $50,000 would be a grant through Mass Golf. They are doing what's called MuniLinks, and MuniLinks is a grant that's provided to an existing project up to $50,000, and it's just available to municipal golf courses to help them keep up with the big guys, the big private courses. And I do have a little up on that. I am on the Mass Golf Member Services Committee, and I've been told to apply for it. So it starts next year. It's the very first time it's ever being given out. And I have them there on a regular basis, and I do work with them. So we do have it up there. So I'm anticipating that coming through. If that comes through, the plan, I know this, you guys can't see this on the TV screen. I'll try to show you on the screen. But if you want to look it up, the short of it is this, I know it's really, really hard, but the first hole is here currently, and that's the cart path. And if you can see the shadowed part, if you want to look at it yourselves, do a Google search on the 12th hole at Augusta National, which is probably one of the most iconic golf holes that there are. And does that work any better, John? I don't know if that.
yeah,
No?
Not really.
Sorry.
nothing showing up, but okay.
I'll email you a copy. But in any case, what a selling point. I mean, like I said, we've gone from 25,000 rounds. But an additional selling point to say, well, these people are never going, it's $27 golf. They're not going to play at Augusta National anytime soon, but they can in Stoughton. They can play the 12th hole anyway. So that's in short, I know this is just a pre-app, so that's just kind of the thought process. It doesn't have to be this big as far as Augusta National. If I don't get the extra $50,000, I'll have to tone it back a little bit, but. Yeah, yes.
With the increased ability to get through the hole,
Mhm.
do you anticipate increase in paid rounds?
Not necessarily paid rounds, but more in the experience. Like I said, we've got 10 teams. People are waiting 10, 12 teams deep at the first tee, waiting to go off. And that's not necessarily good money because they're going to get aggravated.
They're not gonna come back.
Come back. So we're trying to speed up them getting out onto the course. If they can get out onto the course faster, we can keep that line moving faster, keep everybody happier. It does allow for more rounds to get done if we can speed up the pace of play. So essentially, yes, but
Yeah.
we keep them coming back.
Follow-up question. Do you have a ranger who sort of?
We do. We also have a lot of inexperienced golfers, under par golfers, where they're, hackers. They're learning.
Hacker.
Some of them are just there for physical therapy. Some of them are just there for the social aspect of it. Some of them are just trying it out or trying to build their game. Some of them are using it for practice, and some of them are just using it for exercise. So we have every level, And we're very, very respectful for that. We have a lot of children that come, very young children, 4, 5, 7. Matter of fact, we have one girl that's 9 years old that just won the chip putt and drive contest. And she will be going to nationals, which is going to be down at the Masters next year. So, and she's one of our locals. So, those types of things, but those kids that are coming out and spending time with their parents or their grandparents, this is an opportunity for them. We don't want to rush them too much. We always just tell them, you know, when you have somebody coming up on you, just let them play through, but enjoy your time here. And people really do appreciate that. We would try to be, not just golf, it's a family experience at the same time, so.
If you had to explain to town meeting how this would improve, the play, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that the overall experience, it would improve the overall experience. It would improve maintenance by far, with better pin placements, less, you know, 25,000 rounds on a piece of property that's 1,500 square feet right now. We would move it up to about 7,200 square feet. So that's the size difference in the green. And 1,500 square feet is just a little bit bigger than this room. So that's the green that we're talking about. So it would improve the pace of play, less inputs from chemicals and the things that I have to do in order to keep it in condition that it's in. Just based upon being able to move the pin around. So those are aspects as well. Granted, it is a larger space that we do have to take care of, but at the same time, we're going to be putting less chemicals on it. If it makes sense, we'd be doing less chemical intervention. So technically greener, even though we have a much larger space that we have to mow and maintain, but that's just, you know, on costs on our end. So.
Thank you.
John Linehan?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, he's built so much credibility in my mind. He's done what he said he'd do and has turned that into a self-supporting operation. And I would move that we move this forward to a full application.
Okay, I'll take that as a motion. Do we have a second? Rich, any further discussion?
I just wanted to just clarify something. For the data point, you compared your first year here to the current. What year was that, your first year?
I started August 23rd, 2014.
Okay.
And that fiscal year we finished with 181.
Okay.
And then, like I said, now 748. So it's been great, and I appreciate everybody's support here, and thanks for moving this forward. I won't tie up any more time, but thank you, John.
Okay, hang on, because we haven't moved it forward quite yet. We've got a motion to move it forward.
Right, and White has a question.
Right, that's a question.
I would probably vote yes, you know, to approve the pre-application and move on. But I am leery in the context of the town and the way they've been reacting to certain expenses and the total number of expenses that we have on our plate tonight. So that, and this would apply to other pre-applications too, that finally we're probably gonna have to make hard decisions about what we say yes or no on and what we're willing to send along to town meeting. And so I will vote yes, but down the line to finally approve this, I have some concerns that will kind of be based on other applications that we have on our total pool of money and what we're saying yes to, what we finally decide that we are putting in front of town meeting and saying that we support. So that will be my concern for many of these things tonight.
Yeah, and that will be part of our
That's a
further
fair
discussions, but
assessment.
Yeah.
I do appreciate.
in that regard, Victor.
Yeah, no, I do appreciate the, you know, the process, and I respect the process, and if hopefully we can move through.
Is there room, I mean, would this be more saleable to town meeting if we said 100,000 was coming out of your retained earnings and 150 from the CPC?
The only,
Is there room in your retained earnings to do that?
there is money in the retained earnings, but right now that is being tied up. We've got two major projects at the golf course. Engineering is putting through, we're doing a parking lot, which is hopefully all coming out of a grant, but it's a $450,000 project. But we're also, it depends upon the septic tank and whether or not we can tie into a line so that there could be another 300,000 that's getting tied up with that. So I don't think I'm allowed.
Probably good, okay, but get that into the story to show that, hey, the success that we know you've had at the golf course is
Yes.
getting poured back in
Oh, yeah.
to the town's asset.
Right,
It's just, we want to do something even more with this, because it sounds like a great project. I mean,
right.
what you
Yes,
described,
you're
what
right.
you're doing at First Green makes all the sense in the world.
When they
But we
ask
don't
for-
want them thinking you're just spending CPC money. We're
Right,
spending
yes,
the
sir.
money that you've generated as well.
Right, and if that other money wasn't tied up, I actually probably wouldn't ask.
Yeah.
But, with timing, again, with the number of rounds, this project would be looking at late next year. By the time we get the architect to draw everything up and then go out for bid, we'd probably be looking for late next year or early spring for 20.
Okay, any further discussion from the committee? Then we'll take a vote, starting with Rich,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Larice,
Yes.
Dwight,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Well, she does it around town.
Yes, he's actually reached out to me, but I told him I was waiting until the 9th green was fully grown in and cut. And that way, because I didn't want it on camera while it was growing in. I wanted it when it was finished.
It's a good way to get your story out there to a lot of people.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Don't
I don't know
hesitate,
if I can handle too much more business.
don't hesitate to mention the role of the CPC, and it's not because we're looking for glory, but to let the taxpayers know what their money's going to.
Well, this
I
was an
think that's such an
investment.
important.
Retained earnings will be a big, why aren't you spending that? So.
Right, no, that was a very valid point,
Dot
but
the i's
he-
across the t's.
again, CPC, you guys have done between the 6th hole, the 9th hole, you've always believed in me, and, I know you were a little reluctant on a couple of them, at moments, but you did, you believed in me, and we've been able to turn it all around, and I truly appreciate it.
I just think it's important for the taxpayers in town to see the benefits that are coming, because it's their money that's getting spent. It's not our money.
100%.
We just get to-
Fantastic.
Well, it's our money too.
We are all taxpayers, but we know, and I think we appreciate it, or we wouldn't be here.
I can't speak to everything you guys have funded, but between that and what Park and Rec has done, I mean, really allocating, spots for the town to be in. And, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Victor.
See that?
Okay, next up, we have the Stoughton Housing Authority, Colleen. And the project. If you introduce yourself and.
Hi, good evening. My name is Colleen Doherty, the Director of the Stoughton Housing Authority. And we are before you on our pre-application, which involves some new housing that we would like to build on land that we already own. The Stoughton Housing Authority applied for a grant to the Department of Housing and Community Development, which is one of our funding partners. To be able to replace some of our existing housing by selling that in the long run and then using those funds along with some grant funding from the state and possibly some gap funding from CPC to be able to complete a project that would allow us to put 8 brand new units over at the Vets development, which we currently own now. The Vets development currently has 26 units on it that look like a lot of small single-family capes. These would be adding 8 units set up on 4 duplex-style modular housing. Right now, we have some funding already committed to the project. The state has committed over $2 million. We were looking at the proceeds from the sales of the properties that we already own to be around $3 million. And when we put in for the grant funds, which was back in 2023, we projected a possible gap of under 300,000. So the project right now is in the design stage. We are getting very close to final design. We actually had another submission today on design. Once we get to that final design, it will help us with a roadmap, as I'm sure you're all aware, of what we would need to do in the world of permitting, but also would give us a good idea, hopefully, of estimated costs against what we had proposed in 2023. So as happens is, a lot of these grants, we apply for them, and then a few years later, we're looking at them again and saying, okay, what might be, a more realistic cost? So we're hoping to have a good realistic cost, to the CPC soon about the full gap funding, but the gap funding would be used to build out one additional side of a duplex, because right now we are replacing 7 existing units spread out over 6 properties that the Housing Authority owns under what's called a 705 program. That 705 program generally houses families, and they are generally properties that were acquired, not built by the Housing Authority. So some of those properties, as they have aged, have become more difficult for the Housing Authority to keep up with within our budget, within our staffing, within our long-term goals. We know that it's going to become more difficult for us. So to have an opportunity to replace those with brand new housing built onto property that we already own is a huge opportunity for us to upgrade our housing and also upgrade our long-term plan. So the assistance from the CPC would really be vital to allow us to move forward with the project. It also would give us an additional affordable housing unit within our portfolio. That would be great. That's always great. Our wait lists are huge. And just as a reminder, the Housing Authority provides deep subsidy housing. So this housing would be subsidized, would be deed restricted to be subsidized in perpetuity. And putting it onto a existing site saves us a lot in that we're going onto property that we already own. This site can take on 8 more units. And we are really excited about the project. And as I said, we are in somewhat early design phases, but we are really making some progress. So we're hoping to have final design soon on the project. So the plan for us would be to not sell the properties until the new property is ready to be occupied. And that is a lot less disruptive to families that we would be asking to make just one move over to the new units, opposed to a relocation requirement, which comes with an awful lot of disruption to the family, but also regulations and funding. So it's our hope to possibly do a loan for a very short amount of time during the build out, and then be able to move families directly into brand new housing, so that we are not doing relocation, which is a big bonus. I've done relocation. It's a big bonus. Oh, sorry, John.
Okay, John Lenahan, questions?
Thank you. Number one, what would be the cost you sell at versus the cost you build at?
So it won't be, it most likely, when our first analysis, when we did the application in 2023, and we did have a realtor come out, we did do an assessment on the properties then, because now these are properties that we would be looking to sell into the private market. When we looked at it then, it looked like we had about a $250,000 gap between the sale and the building of the new, keeping in mind that we were looking to add a unit at that time, that we're looking to even out those duplex styles and add, because 7 was an uneven number, and if we can fit, the 4 duplex styles. So that was our gap at that time.
And is that per unit or per the project?
It was per the project. That was per
Thank you.
project. But I'm
Thank you.
concerned it probably has risen.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
The second one is how much, I'm the open space committee person on this committee, so I have to ask, how much natural undeveloped land would you be destroying?
Wow. Um, it's hard for me to answer that right now. I can get that for you, but I don't want to give a guess that I'm not sure about. We've been very cognizant in the design. We've been through a number of designs where we kind of come through the entire site. We add a full road. That seemed very disruptive. And then we went to kind of coming off of Porter and going off of some of the existing driveways that we already have in place and building behind those. And trying to keep the parking to 2 per unit, and trying to consolidate that asphalt into, parking squares and not spread out. So we're cognizant of that for sure in the design, but I don't know the exact, but I can get the exact, John. I can get it. I don't know what.
I think the key there, Colleen, is that's certainly a good question to have an answer for as part of the application and presentation. You don't need an answer tonight per se, but it is a concern, as John said, for the open space committee to know how much land is being developed, so.
Sure.
John, did you have anything else?
No, thank you.
Yeah, and we'll have that clear answer as we finish up design.
So obviously to have a site plan that, because I'm trying to envision how this would work. So a site plan of the total site that shows the existing houses are going to be sold. And then if I understand, it's land that abuts that the new units will be built on, correct or not?
No, it's land that it would be within the site. The units that we're selling are scattered throughout the town of Stoughton. So some of them are single family homes. We have one that's a 2-family home. That's what's being sold. Nothing is being sold within this development that we will then build in.
Okay, well, to see that development, where the houses are now and where the space is, open or otherwise, that John talks about, would be very helpful. Because it's, it seems to me like this is the kind of housing money we haven't been spending, we do want to spend, but I would just like to see something I could envision as to where this is going in relation to what's already there.
We will be able to provide, hopefully a final design, by full application. Like I said, we just got one.
But feel free to share the preliminary designs.
We'll do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
So just to understand that is, those 6 existing homes, once the new ones are built, the goal is just to transfer them to the new unit. Is that accurate?
Transfer the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Well, no, that's great because then you put the 6 or 7 units back on the tax roll as far as the town's concerned. You get that and you get 7 or actually 8 new units. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, so actually putting the new selling and the existing units would be sold on the open market.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that will,
Probably get redeveloped into a more modern saleable house and.
right, which will,
And
again,
then we'll have the
as
addition of
Bob said,
these.
will be on the tax. Yeah.
No, I truly agree and love the idea, as we've talked a lot about trying to get more money into housing, which is a key component of the CPC, so. Any other questions, concerns, comments from the committee? And we'll entertain a motion to move this forward.
Thank you, Colleen.
I'll second it.
Larice, Bob, seconds.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Rich?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Larice?
Yes.
Dwight?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
We'll probably see you next month. October 8th is the date of our next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, next up, we have Dennison Athletic Complex renovations. Matt Cochon. keeping that busy tonight.
Your place is rather big. It's true. All right. So, the John Dennison Athletic Complex, nestled between the middle school, high school, and Wilkins Elementary School, serves as Stone's central hub for athletics and recreation. It is more than just a collection of fields. It's a shared space where community, competition, and character come together. This facility is home to a wide range of programs, including Stoughton High School baseball, softball, field hockey, track and field, middle school soccer, and freshman soccer. In addition, it serves as a vital space for Stoughton youth softball, youth flag football, and numerous adult and soccer leagues. In 2025, the complex is projected to host over 2,000 hours of permanent games and practices. Keep in mind, this does not include anything that high school or the middle school does. So any high school, middle school sports and gym classes, this does not count into that. So it's probably double, if not even triple that number. It does not take into account the amount of people who go out walking track, or just go out there to play catch with their kids, use batting cage, stuff like that. This is just permanent hours through like youth softball, flag football, adult league, stuff like that. Yeah, despite its importance, the Dennison complex has not seen any major upgrades since it was built around the 1980s. The field infrastructure outdated, worn, and in many cases no longer meets the needs of state athletes and our standards compared to our neighboring communities. Youth softball depends entirely on this complex. These are the only softball fields in town. Each summer, the fields host teams from surrounding communities for the annual Smacker tournament, a critical fundraiser for the program. Youth flag football, which is one of Stoughton's fastest growing sports, also relies heavily on this facility. During the fall, the complex is packed every weekend from morning through late afternoon, filled with players and their families. Despite the constant use and high demand, the conditions of the fields and amenities continue to be below par. In this project, there would be two major things that we need to accomplish. The first will be the most needy of the complex, which is on Dryce Field. Dryce is located next to the middle school doors. It is our multi-purpose field, we call it, and it holds JV baseball practice there, and that is flag football's main field. This field is known to residents as the Dust Bowl. Years of heavy use has stripped the soil quality needed for safe and playable conditions. Our plan is to bring in a fresh layer of topsoil and solder to restore the outfield and create a safer, more resilient playing surface for our athletes. The next would be to upgrade the 4 softball fields. And we're looking to replace all the backstops, which are currently in poor conditions. Most are, or all of them are really rusted out, bent, corroded, and are going to be pretty soon unsafe. The last will be to install shaded dugouts on each field. All 4 softball fields, none of them have shaded dugouts. The only shaded dugouts on the complex is on the varsity baseball field. So during the spring rain, during high school season and summer heat, during when travel ball, youth softballs in the mix is, the players just out there in the elements. It's also during high school games, when we talk a lot with high school coaches, there are, parents, fans really close to the dugouts. There's no separation between them. Same with the youth too. There's really none of that separation. There's no space for them. And it's just really lacking compared to other facilities. Upgrading the Dennison complex, not just improving the fields, it's about investing in our youth, supporting growing programs, and strengthening our community pride. These fields, I got constant requests from residents asking for upgrades on these fields, especially from the softball parents. Again, these are the only softball fields in town. They permit them through the rec department. And the same with flag football too. Flag football, it is booming. I had a meeting with the new president of flag football last week. He says they're expanding even more this year. I believe they still have people on the wait list, which is really awesome to see. You have a growing boys division, a growing girls division, a youth sport that's really booming, and they rely heavily on this complex. So that's really all I have. I do understand this is a free application. So with the full application, you will be getting pictures of all the facilities. You will be getting a detailed list of all the cost items, and you will be getting more letters of recommendation as they come in. One of the things, the reason why I wanted to wait on that is flag football starts on Saturday. Give it 1 or 2 weeks and the
Levels will
Dry's
pour in.
field is gonna be really bad. For those that don't really know what they're looking at, you go up to Dry's now, you're gonna see a little bit of green. It's all weeds, but 1 or 2 weeks in, it's gonna be a dirt bowl. And then 2, we're just tweaking the cost a little bit, so I'm waiting for that to come back. But this is something too, the middle school does something really awesome. There's a middle school teacher, she does a civics project every year in April. She has her students get together in teams and they look at a problem around town and they have to email that either from the person in the town or whoever works with the school and talk about how they can solve it. I get dozens of emails every year from high school kids asking about the field and stuff like that. So the kids see it, parents see it. It's just needed. It's just time to give it a little upgrade. So that's all I have. Open any
Thank you, Matt. Any questions? John Lenahan?
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we invested in that field last year.
No, not last year. No.
We did a study. We
Yeah.
paid for a study of what needs to be done.
Oh,
That
oh,
was the
thank you.
design. This would be
It
the
was-
Yeah,
construction.
design, what was it, like $37,000?
Yeah, and this would be,
This is now doing some of the work.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I feel like those studies aren't the best use of our money, but that field is an embarrassment. And I know how much use it gets. So thank you, Matt, for bringing it forward and you know, I would support it.
My daughters played on those fields in the 1990s and it needed work back then.
Mine too.
After seeing the great work we did at the baseball field for the boys last year, it really is, so I'm really glad you brought this in. Any other questions? Dwight? You're muted, Dwight.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had muted him. Let me unmute him.
Okay.
And children, the male plays the flag football and the females play on those softball fields. So apart from the question of what the schools pay for is what we pay. We may have gone through this before with the Wilkins property, but how we sort out what we pay for as opposed to what schools pay for, I just need that clarified for me.
yeah, it's a great question. So the town, so the rec department, we pay for, so we contract out for like landscaping. So we, you know, all the aeration, seeding, weekly, grass cuttings, the town pays for. Any, like when it has to do with, so every spring we have to, the varsity baseball field needs to be edged, it needs to have all the vegetation taken out, the mound redone, the town pays for, the DPW helps with the mound on Dreist. We'll pay for a lot of things, but the school department, they have a maintenance guy. During school seasons, he's out there painting lines, he's out there dragging fields, doing weeds. I've built up a really good relationship with him, so he'll do a lot of stuff for town, whether it's for youth leagues, whether it's for adult leagues. Same with Dennis, who was in here earlier. I have a really good relationship with him, where one of our pumps is failing at the athletic complex, so he's doing a lot of work and trying to replace that. So it's a lot of like give and take. I'd say that the town, financially fronts most of it. The schools help out a lot, with manpower that we tend to lack. Hope that answers that question.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Great project.
Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion. Move forward, Maurice.
Yeah, Bob. Oh, do you want me to make the motion to move forward?
I think that's enough. Barry,
Yes.
Barry will fill in the words. or-
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, no, go
I make
ahead.
a motion to approve the pre-application.
Do we have
Second,
a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Rich? Bob?
Yes.
Maurice?
Yes.
Dwight?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
John?
yes,
And the chair votes yes. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks,
Thank
Matt.
you guys all very much. See you soon.
Next up, we have our antique fire pumper restoration, Joe McCrisky. Everybody here.
Good evening, folks. Let me open by once again thanking you all here for your previous vote for the restoration of the 1928 Maxim pumper that was completed last year. And what I'll do is I'll leave these behind as well, but I want to just take you through this little paper PowerPoint, if you will. And that is the truck as it sits today. It is actually up on 130 and 127, the Bill's detailing. Paint's got to sit for 1 year, and now it's having a final clear coat. It's a ceramic coating, and on the truck, it's going to last another 2 years. And then this is how we keep up with it. You know, it's not a cheap process to do, but it's definitely worth it for the life of the truck. So we have had in the last year, a little over a year, some great things happening with engine 2 and pumper. I just want to give you this: is the pumper is, you know, the second end of that. So what happened? This is just a picture of us going to a show. The fire truck has gone to a lot of shows. And if you recall, when I made my presentation, I stated this was going, I want this to be an ambassador of Stoughton. I want people to see the good part of Stoughton and the people that made Stoughton what it is today. So we don't get, you know, the broad brush of a few problems, let people see the rest of the town. So we've been going to a lot of shows. People are coming up with this truck, just having pictures taken in front of it, getting in history, so forth. And what happened, this picture here, what happened last year is out of the blue. I got a phone call from somebody, and it was one of those things that you hear, you know, it's an embarrassing moment at one, when somebody says, hey, Jay Leno wants your truck at the Concourse d'Elegance in Newport. And I won't use one of the words accused, but I said, yeah, who's this? He goes, no, this is real. This is real. And he told me who he was. So you can call me back, the whole thing. It was real. So somebody that I found out, somebody else had mentioned to Jay Leno, because, you know, he's a resident of Newport. And they were saying, oh yeah, you got to see this truck. I saw it. It's great, blah, blah, blah. That's how Engine 2 sat at the last year's 2024 Concourse d'Elegance. So hosted by the Audrain Museum, the world's most beautiful vehicles. And our truck was sitting at the hall of the golf hall, the Tennis Hall of Fame grounds. Amazing. So didn't think it was going to happen, but Jay Leno himself showed up. There's a picture with Jay Leno, and I walked him around the truck. He wanted to know every nook and cranny, the motor, how much power, the gearing, everything. And it was an amazing time. I mean, somebody said, oh, you'll probably meet him, but you know, I have a tendency to expect the worst and hope for the best. But that did happen. Stick it together. Jay Leno even gave his thumbs up for Engine 2. So we've been using that, you know, in some of the marketing we've been doing a little bit. And when they're all said and done, we got Wayne Carini. Wayne Carini had a show called Chasing Classic Cars on TV, and it was on the Velocity Channel. It's a national show. He showed up. I'm in the middle. To the right is Ralph Morano. Ralph is one of these big millionaires that just travels the country looking for old cars, you know, and barn finds and all that. Got to meet them, and this show started to end right about there, but they talked about doing the show. So this was just the sign that I do have that we're going to have framed eventually put up, that the Audrain Museum put up. It was the history of the fire truck. What that ended up doing was that little thing is Jay Leno invited my wife and I to come out to California and see his collection. With that, I found out that one of Jay's staff and a friend of mine are very friendly. So while I was there, I asked, I said, is David, and I used his last name, is David so-and-so here? And he goes, well, do you know him? And I said, no, I don't, but we have a very good mutual friend. And he said, well, who's that? And I mentioned, and he goes, oh my God, you know him? And he even said one more, he says, you even know him? What's his brother's name? Right? So once we got through, we were talking, and he said, so yeah, what's up? And I said, oh, it's just Jay. I told him the story. I said, and what I want to do is, if anybody's into the car world, Jay Leno does a show called Mansions and Motor Cars. And where he and the guy named Donald Osborne, who's an automotive historian, they go out and they drive like a 1905 car around Newport, or 1917, the 20s, things like that. And they talk about the car and the makers of it and what it was. And then they'll pull into a mansion, they get a tour of the mansion. So there's the Mansions and Motor Cars. I said, Jay loves fire trucks. He loved our fire truck. I said, I'd like to offer it to Jay for an episode of Mansions and Motor Cars. I said, think about it, because this truck would have responded. That one, a make like that would have responded. Newport Fire had 3 Maxim engines during that time. I said, they would have responded to some of these mansions. And he said, wow, I love that idea. He said, this is your lucky day. He said, I'm the producer of those shows. So he said he wants to do it. So it might be a great thing that we'll have Jay Leno, that's going to be basically focusing, a show on this fire truck. So it's been some great things. What we're also able to do is I've forged a relationship with the Los Angeles County Fire Museum. These people are the best of the best at restoring fire trucks. And they have things that out there they have plenty of that we don't have here. Wooden ladders. Out here to buy an antique wooden ladder can cost you $2,000 or $3,000. I saw like 6 of them all piled in the corner, right? And I said, oh my God, I said, that is like gold at home. And he says to me, how many do you want? He said, I'll give them to you. You pay the shipping. And right now I don't have a use for them. We have the odd ladders, but just the things that they had, and the resources from just unbelievable. We talked about fundraising. We want to do some things. This is, this here is their prize gem steam pumper that is valued over $1 million. It is just the most meticulous piece of equipment you've ever seen. They also have in their collection the original trucks, Squad 51 and Engine 51 from the TV series Emergency. So they have all sorts of events out there where they bring out the actors that played in the movie, and they have fan events and things like that. And he said, boy, we do one of our big events, we'll have to get your truck out there. Well, I don't know if they'll be doing that. Can't imagine what the shipping alone would be. Yeah. So that's Engine 51. And this was right around the corner at Crescent Ridge Ice Cream a couple of weeks ago. And the kids that were just taking pictures on the truck, adults walking around. Town meeting member of the finance committee showed up, hadn't seen it yet. And, we had a real nice conversation. He actually collects license plates, and we've been looking to try to find a period correct license plate, a 1928 plate. If we can find one, a Massachusetts plate, as long as that number is not used somewhere else, we can register it and just take the plate we have now, turn it in, put that year of manufacturing rate. So this has been going beyond my wildest dreams. We were very successful at obtaining a very substantial donation to the fire truck fund, and a portion did go to the Historical Society as well, which really allows us to have that money for some time. So the hand tub I did mention to a couple of your members last year that we had got back our hand tub that was bought in Stoughton in 1853. It's labeled in 1855, but the manufacturer's list shows 1853. But this was one that was actually the 1855 hand tub. It was the Bay State 3. And you'll see there are some pictures. I did put the application in here just so that you would have everything together. But the images that are there will show you. So the Honeyman, this 1855 Honeyman, which was labeled, was worked in Stoughton. It was called Bay State 3. If you see the name on the side of it, it still says Bay State 3. When it left Stoughton
it was actually the town of Avon's first fire truck. That was our East Stoughton Fire Station. And when Avon, East Stoughton seceded to become the town of Avon, this was their first fire engine. So our goal would be to restore this. I called around with the only two right now, people that would do a manufacture, a restoration like this. And they said, based on what pricing is right now, you'd be safe putting $150,000. He believes there's an option out, which was very interesting, which would be less, is instead of it going through a 100%, restoration, like it just rolled off the assembly floor, they do one now, is a patina restoration. So they would rough it up a little bit. They would, they wouldn't go and take the wheels down to a fine sandpaper, but they would clean them, or remanufacture them if they have them. These are messed up a little bit. If you look at one of the pictures there, you'll see a bunch of duct tape holding the drum on. So it may be that needs a little bit more work. But it's an easier because it's a lot of wood. It's just dismantling the steel, refinishing the steel, the leather seals that are in there for the pump, that would have to be done. The pressure gauge is there, isn't hooked up right now. And when you see in one of the pictures, you see a lot of steel beams on it. The reason the steel beams are there is the actual brackets for the wooden handles were taken off. This was used in competitive hand pumps that they would go to the fire musters and they would compete. So they put the steel ones on because they were a little easier to work with. But the goal would be to do something that's in the middle so we can get those original. I do have the wooden handles that go to it. It would just do some remanufacturing of some brackets so they would fit on there. So we've had this back now for right about 2 years when it was brought back to the town. It was made possible by a donation from somebody in town. That when we told them it was available, it was originally going to be utilized by the fire union, so fire department union, but they decided they weren't able to do it and so forth. So it came over to the Historical Society, and that is what we would like to do, is to build this and eventually have this hand tub would go into the fire station. Chief Carroll loves the idea, and it'll be in the station. There's plenty of area in that station, put up petitions, properly cover it and so forth. And if it ever come to the place that there was more apparatus than they, needed the space, we could think of something different, but we don't see that, coming for a while. So I understand you've got a lot on your plate that has been suggested, and, I just thought when people would say to me, bring it forward, I would bring it forward and see what your appetite would be. So with that, I really believe now this is a 170-year-old hand tub, and when you talk about the history of the town, items like this, when you just sit there and lean on it, you just think of the men. Unfortunately, disrespect to the women, there were no women doing that job at the time, but the men that did that job. It makes you appreciate what we have around us. We're going to try to get a little bit more work done to a video we have that was from 1926 when the fire station moved from the town hall to Freeman Street for the first time. And that video, the audio on it is unbelievable. You would think that somebody was beside you talking, how clear it was. They were mentioning names, but then the video gets hazy. But there's a guy that I know, he used to work over at SMAC, and the guy is just a video genius. Dwight's on the call. Dwight and I both did segments on the train station, and this young man just did a fabulous job. So he had said, boy, I'd love to do something on those and, get more history on it. So a lot of things are going on. The Maxim is on a couple of lists where it's available for movies, because you can make great money on a movie set where sometimes it just sits there in the background and does nothing. And we, years ago, Fire Chief Vanston, who was also a police chief, his great-grandson got married on Indian. So it was a great thing to have he and his new wife, on the fire truck that you know, his great-great-grandfather would have been there. So the story's on and on, well, it's been fun, and I thank you for your support of Engine Two, and thank you for your consideration on the 1855 Honeyman hand pump. So any questions?
Any questions?
I had one. You mentioned there's two ways of restoring the.
Yes.
Tub. The one that's not quite as extensive, what would that estimate be?
He said he'd have to look at it. That's why I didn't put a number on it. I just, I figured, he said a restoration would be 150 anyway. He said that if we can do that, he says it would be cheaper, but I'd have to see it first. So myself, to be honest with you, I kind of like the idea. I kind of like the idea of you know, just a patina, as he called it, a patina restoration. That sounds cool because I think when you look at it, it would stir your imagination a little bit more because it doesn't look like this brand new thing.
Really, yeah,
You know,
really
like a
shows. It's
Right, yeah, you
new.
want-
This is,
Exactly. You want to see the scratches, you want to see the little dent in the wheel and things like that. So, and I would tend to think it would be a substantial amount of money less. And I'll let you know. I mean, I know we have plenty of time between the time that you'll be committing.
that decision can be made.
Right.
time
And
before.
I can get that number
Yeah.
and have it to you before that time. As well as, letters of support and so forth.
Dwight?
So, Joe, do we know the years that this pumper was in East Stoughton? It was their main fire machine during a certain period of years? Is that
Yes,
correct?
there's a national registry of Honeyman hand tubs, Dwight, and it's listed delivered to East Stoughton, Massachusetts in 1853. Now, the tower where the bell is says 1855. Now, the unit can be tracked from when it left Avon. It went down south as far as, I believe, Virginia, and they found it at an antique shop. But
And what year did it leave Avon?
that I'd have to get from Avon, Dwight. That we don't have.
Okay, because we have, in the process of my doing this 300th calendar, I mean, I just went through historical Stoughton fires, writing the dates of certain of them. So fires, I'm thinking if there were fires in East Stoughton during a certain period of time that we have the descriptions of, we could match up and saying, you know, this pumper was the one that was sent to put out that fire or try to. So,
Right, and I spoke to their deputy chief, who I know from another world. And they're gonna go looking through to see where they could find pictures of the Bay State 3 and match that up on the dates as well. Because again, that's what we want to do. See, restoration's nice, but it's having a history back here.
Yeah.
And we do have the Honeyman hand tub. This is their official, like, if you want to call it dictionary. It shows every Honeyman hand tub ever built, the dates and where it ended up. So we know where it left, when it left roughly Avon, because of where it ended up down in the south. So, Fire Chief, retired Fire Chief Ken Gallagher from the city of Brockton knows these very well. He's working on a couple things right now as well to try to get that information. And, we know basically on engine 2, through time, we have engine 2 from the time it was delivered to the time it left, where it went after it left. We know exactly where it went. 4 locations before it came back to Stoke, 5 locations before it came back to Stoke. And we know the names. So that didn't happen overnight, but it happened. And I believe we'll be able to do the same thing with the Honeyman, just working on it. And honestly, Dwight, as you know, I've been doing so much work with engine 2 that I really haven't had the time to sit down and get that done. But I have a young kid that's great on a computer. He said he would do something. I'm just gonna throw him a couple of dollars and see if we can find out.
That's great. It's a great story to tell, especially going into our.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Joe, can you get us a PDF?
Yes, I'll send you just that. I'll send that to you. That's a quick fix. I threw those together quick tonight. So I'll scan it as a PDF and I'll send it to you in the morning. Thank you. No, thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the committee? Oh, John Lenahan's got his hand up.
Yeah. Excuse me. How long is the existing fire truck? How many times has the existing fire truck gotten out in front of the public in the last year?
In the last year, 25,
Under bid.
other than the cold weather. I'll tell you this, John, I drive that whenever I can. We take it out, we've gone down to Crescent Bridge Ice Cream. Sit and have an ice cream and let people see it. I've gone to Faxon Park, I wipe it down, let people see it. You know, wherever we can do to get this out, it doesn't belong in a museum, it belongs in the public, and that's what I said with the application. This is a piece of history that goes to you. You know, we're actually in the process of, being able to get a vehicle, because there was a trailer donated, back when we bought the fire truck. Jay Cashman, big Boston developer, donated a trailer for it. Well, then I had a 1-ton truck that I had to sell. It just was too much to keep. And now we don't have a truck to pull it. So we're looking at one of the old ambulances that has been declared surplus equipment, which we could just put a trailer hitch on that. And I have a low bed that we may even take it down to shows. They have these big shows in Florida, Georgia, of fire apparatus. There's a couple guys that have low bed trucks, and they said, if you want, I'll piggyback you, I'll take your truck down. You guys drive down and put it on the back of my low bed. We want people to see it. And when it's sitting in a garage, and I would challenge anybody, please, and I think I've mentioned before, call me before the weather's gone, call me. Let me take you for a ride. It's something that it's unbelievable. You know, it's a lot of fun. It really is.
So Joe, is the pumper a horse-drawn apparatus?
You know, this, when it ended, it was a man pull, but yes, it was horse-drawn. It was horse-drawn when they first got it, and it was one horse. It wasn't one you'd see with 4 or 5 horses, you know, going down the road, but it was one. And then it was hooked up where manpower could drag it to, which God bless the people who did that, because I move it around just to move it around the museum where it is. And it's heavy. It sure as heck is heavy.
Do you have anybody that has horses that are willing to match up with
They
it?
actually do. I won't say the family's name because you know, I haven't hit them with it yet. But yes, there's actually 2 families I was gonna ask. You know, because what I wanted was make sure that it's not something that the horse was too big or whatever. You gotta learn a little bit more. But some of the ideas that I learned from people, and this is new to me. I'm not a fire buff. You know, it's a piece of history, and it's the Stoughton people. I'll share with you one former retired chief, Paul Roach, told me when we were at the Historical Society one time. Dwight will probably remember the event, and Chief Roach was there, and he came. I forget what event we had at the Historical Society. He was there, and I had the fire truck out, so he sat in it, and he was sitting in the driver's seat. And I said, Chief, he said, Joe, this is the first truck I drove. And I said, well, Chief, take it for a ride. It hasn't changed. And he goes, that was a tough truck to steer then. I sure as hell couldn't move this truck now. I said, Chief, don't worry. You drive it down the street. I'll turn it around for you. We'll bring it back. I said, you know, but one of those things that's, I don't care who you are, that was moving is the chief had his hands on the steering wheel. And he's just going back and forth. He goes, boy, look at that. The steering wheel hasn't changed at all. And he stopped and looked at his hands and he goes, boy, the hands sure. Right?
This is Paul Senior.
Yeah, senior, yeah. And he said, and then young Donnie Chipman on the fire department took the chief for a ride. And then we discovered that when Chief Roach became chief, his father, Henry Chipman, was the first firefighter that Chief Roach appointed to the fire department. Donnie Chipman was the last one.
Wow.
So the first appointment that he had was a Chipman, and the last was a Chipman. That's, you know, and it's crazy. The stories that you get, we have.
And I love the stories.
Yeah,
Well, we got 2 more
Yes.
presentations to go through,
I'm
Joe.
glad you
so-
stopped me because I go all night.
Yeah, I know. I love hearing them, but respect to the other people.
We need a vote.
Any further discussion? We had a motion, right? We had a motion in a second already?
Sure we did.
Okay, then let's entertain a motion.
Where's it gonna be?
Yeah,
Fire.
The new one.
The new fire station.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain the motion.
So move.
Second,
Second.
Second by Bob. Okay, any further discussion?
No.
Last minute questions relevant to the proposal? Rich?
Yes.
We'll take a vote.
Yes.
Bob, agrees.
Yes.
Dwight,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Thank
Thanks,
you all
Thank you,
so
Joe.
kindly. Thank you.
Thanks for the paper,
I'll leave this here for you as well.
Great.
We'll probably have you back on October 8th.
Okay.
For the full application.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Is this available as a PDF as well?
Yes,
Okay.
you'll have it.
Great.
You'll have it.
Michael.
Yeah, I'll look forward to seeing that because I can't see the pictures that are there.
Yeah, no, some
Yeah,
great
I'll send
pictures.
it to you, Dwight. I just paid it today, just to be ready. I've been so busy. I haven't had time. And, I'd be more than glad to bring the fire truck to the next meeting if you want me to. Just let me know.
Yeah, no, I never followed up with you. Maybe
Our next
next
meeting
year
will be about as
at our
busy as
public
this one.
hearing, we gotta get it.
Anytime.
Okay, we had talked a little bit about it and then forgot all
All you
about it
gotta
until
do is
that
call
night.
me. I'll take you for a ride
Yeah.
anytime you want. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Have a
John.
nice
Take care.
Have a nice night. I got a feeling I know who the private caller is.
Is it Paul?
It is.
It is Paul. By process of elimination, we caught up to you on the agenda. You are next on the agenda with the Railroad Depot Community Center improvements.
That's a tough act to follow. I'm not gonna be quite as long-winded as Mr. McChrystal, but that's, and he knows I can say that about him, so, but that's okay. Yeah,
Most of
so,
what he was saying, I could just picture Paul sitting outside this community center, fire engine 2, the pumper station, man, what a show that would put on for the town. Sitting in the parking lot one of the days during the 300.
well, that's it, Michael. The presentation's over. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. No, yeah, no, excuse me. Well, I appreciate you having me on. I know it's just a pre-application like the others have said. So it's really, this is just an extension. This proposed project is just an extension of the great work that is happening on the interior of, you know, it's now the old Stoughton Railroad Depot because it's now the community center. So the community center is gonna have live events, gonna be able to be rented by residents and gonna have functions there put on by the town, and they're gonna be live performances, and it's just gonna be a great thing for the community, a true community center right in the center of the community. And, you know, our feeling is continue that onto the exterior and, you know, let the people of Stoughton enjoy anything and everything that can be had outside right in the downtown. So that's, you know, of course, I'm, as usual, pretty brief, but pretty direct in what we're trying to do here. But, you know, I can get you some renderings on proposed options. They're just not 100% complete yet. I figured we could do that when it was full application time. But just to get on your radar, we appreciate you entertaining us tonight.
I will say, Barry, we should book next year's public hearing at the community center with Joe's equipment.
There's an idea.
I may come to it. Any questions for Paul?
I had a question. I'm not sure the answer is here. Is part of this renovation to fix the clock so that it works?
Actually, that part of that proposed work will be done at the special fall town meeting, not to be considered for CPC funding.
Okay. All right, so the clock would be fixed with non-CPC money.
That's the idea, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Paul, Rich Terry speaking. As far as the work that's being done on the interior, when do you think that'll be complete?
That should be complete within the next 4 months, hopefully 3 months.
Okay.
What are we,
along,
we're
man.
into September, excuse me, we're into September now. That,
Yeah.
that should be, excuse me for that. We're hoping everything's done by, 11:30, by December 1st.
I thought early December was.
Yeah, nice.
And
Yep,
it's coming
yep.
along. I took the opportunity, probably after the last meeting, to go, to just drop in and poke my head around and kind of caught Tom. Tom was in there meeting with, Roberta Harback.
Oh, wow.
So of course, I'm walking around, they're like, oh, you looking for Tom? I said, Tom here. So I get down and we spend a good time walking
That's how
around
we do it.
talking. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Tom's enthusiasm for this project is infectious, really. I mean, it's been going great, and again, that's why we're here. We're trying to put the cherry on top to finish the whole thing. That 5 years ago we thought it was going to be $4.5–5 million to do this whole thing. With this exterior renovation and what we're doing now, we're hoping to get everything done. Excuse me, for less than 3.5. So, we again, we really appreciate all your support. You guys have been great for anything personally that I've asked for over the years, and it's just we think it's a slam dunk for the community to kind of invest in this way.
Again, to see it being used and have the public be able to go in and appreciate what's in there. It's just a beautiful building.
It is.
Dwight?
Does that 3.5 include the $2 million grant, or is that over and above that?
That's inclusive of that grant.
So it's that 2 million plus this million, and I think we've had a couple of proposals that are probably around $500,000 of CPC as well. 200 grand a couple of years ago and 350 a couple of years before that. So not including the purchase price, but it's up there.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that the building is being fixed up so that it can be used, and I look forward to being there at Christmas time and maybe having another open house there with some of our materials and whatever. I may have.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Paul, I was driving through Bridgewater Center the other day, and I drove past their beautiful train station that unfortunately McDonald's has taken over. And I thought of our
Yes.
and how different it will be.
It's gonna be. Okay, any more questions? Well, John, sorry.
Yeah, it's somehow, I haven't had the opportunity to review all the materials. What is being asked for here?
Okay, so hardscaping. I'm sorry.
Keep going.
Just someone sounded like they jumped in. Hardscaping, landscaping, like a little pocket park, an event exterior event space. Nice planters, really just place for people to sit and hang out and enjoy everything about the downtown, really.
And how much is that?
Just under $1 million.
Yeah, the pre-application is pretty compact. It won't take you that long to read it.
And clearly we'll get into more details with the full application.
Right, and that will be most likely on October 8th, Paul, if you're available.
Absolutely.
Questions, any more?
Motion to
Discussion?
approve?
Excellent. Do we have a second? Rich Terry got his hand up first. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take the vote. Rich? Bob?
Yes.
Maurice?
Yes.
Dwight?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And chair votes yes.
All right, thank you,
Excellent. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you for your patience.
Again, it's exciting to see some of this stuff coming to fruition, man. Tonight, we've heard so many good things that we've been working on for years, coming up. So this is great.
Yeah, no, and again, we we thank you guys all for hearing us and considering us, and you know, we'll give you a good project if and when it comes to fruition, and appreciate the time. Thanks again.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Okay, last but not least, Eric, who's patiently sat here.
I
and-
thank Paul for his patience. I guess I have to thank you even more.
I do not have a story about Jay Leno.
Okay.
We'll keep this pretty basic. So, my name's Eric Smith. I am a member of the Stoughton Youth Soccer Board. Over the past 8 years or so, I started as a soccer parent, then a soccer coach for 5 years or so, and then the past year I've joined the board. So I'm representing the board here to talk a little bit about a request for a field remediation project for a couple of our fields that are languishing in poor drainage and older construction that leaves them a little bit challenged. So just to talk a little bit about the purpose of our project, we're looking for some field improvements at Coles Field. It's the home of our soccer program. We have 3 separate fields. Our field 1 is at a higher elevation. Fields 2 and 3 are at lower elevations. The drainage for the fields 2 and 3 is fairly challenged. The composition that we know of based on history and separate conversations, it's a layer of turf over a concrete cap over a landfill. So over time, and I don't know exactly when that was originally filled, but over time, it looks like that turf is compacted down. We do have we don't believe there's any kind of drainage, but there is a sprinkler system that is in that turf. But even in a winter where we have a minimal snow, which is our past winter, we experience an extended period of soggy playing surfaces. We had to suspend playing on the fields. We normally start at the end of March. It was mid-April before we started having games only. We have to kind of disperse to the various elementary schools, wherever we can find a spot, whether or not it's a good playing surface for soccer, it's something that the kids can play on. So we've got to keep this season going. We only have so much time until June hits. So we've seen these issues on fields 2 and 3, basically puddling, significant sogginess. Anytime we get like over half an inch of rain, it's pretty bad. And it's throughout both of those fields. So we're looking to implement some changes that will resolve those drainage issues and increase our field availability for the future. So from the time that we had submitted the pre-application to now, we did receive a proposal from one of the vendors that we had reached out to. This one was from help from Matt Koshan. So the recommendation that this vendor has, and we do have a couple others in the pipeline that we're still waiting to hear back from, but it is for some tilling of the field, about 3 inches of field after removal of the sprinkler system, and then laying about 6 inches of sod over the top of that, or turf over the top of that, and then reseeding the area, regrowing with some appropriate seed to help facilitate better drainage and better field quality. We're looking to do this in stages so that like if we could do one field and keep two of our three fields running, then that'll allow us to keep the program going for the kids. So we don't want to lose any playing time. So we're looking to do it do a staged approach for this. Now, I mentioned we do have a proposal. The proposal was provided for a single field, so we do need 2 of the fields. So we have some numbers now, and we were given a rough estimate of $300,000 for that work that I've described. So we would need to double that to do both the fields 2 and fields 3.
I've also asked, the contractor, landscaping contractor, whether or not, as we raise the field up, are we going to have to replace, we have fencing, we have, goal posts, the goals that are in the ground, so do we repurpose or do we replace some of that? 'Cause that's gonna be older too. So what we're doing is figuring out, I've asked for a quote that expands to include both of the fields and then to get a clarification on what we can reasonably reuse, reinstall versus better off to replace at that point. So those are things that we're addressing as part of the proposal. I did note we are trying to get a couple of corresponding quotes. Another thing we're looking to do is we've asked the landscaper for a pilot. So we are looking to fund a smaller subset of the field on our own between local fundraising and see what we can pull out of our budget. We're a nonprofit like most of the entities that you're speaking with. So we have some level of funds, not much, but we want to see if we can do a small subset so that we don't go and implement this over our entire field and then not remediate the issue. So the hope is, can we do a small piece, see if that's successful, and then move forward with the larger project? And I also asked timing and timeline from the landscaper. So what's a good time of year to do this work? Is this a summer effort? Is this something that's done late fall? Like, when does it have to be done in order to ensure that the seed will take and things like that? So we need to understand those things so that we could plan this in for a future effort.
Just to clarify, so the pre-application you have in front of us is for 2 fields.
It is, yes.
And what's the plan for field 1, just to see how these 2 fields go and maybe come back for more later if they are successful?
So field 1 is in fairly good condition compared to the other 2. It's a much higher elevation. It's at least a foot higher. So it handles the water. I don't know if it's the exact same composition with the cap, but it does handle much better. It drains much better. It has its own issues. There are some significant dips. So you can see about 3 feet. When we line the field with strings, we can see that it dips significantly. So there's some things that you would like to be better, because we want to do this on behalf of the safety of the kids. So there are some pieces that could be improved. However, our most immediate needs are these 2 fields.
And I know Rich had mentioned the possibility of reconfiguring the complex so that you get better, maybe even get another field out of it if possible. Is that something you're considering?
We would be open to anything so one of the the reason field 1 is better right now is because we actually closed it for a season. So it was, closed last fall, and when we closed it and allowed the grass to take, we did see significant improvement. So there could be a combination of things there, but with 3 fields, it's really tough for us to close one of those 3 fields. So if we did have another field, there'd be a better opportunity for us to rotate around, closing 1 field for a season at a time, or maybe one per year. So
Yeah, I mean, so if you had 4 altogether and you needed 3, you could just rotate which field goes into hibernation each year.
I guess the question there is, what's the add-on cost and what's the palatability of the committee for something like that? So we do understand that as well.
Yeah.
So we kind of took this as what can we do? Because we also looked at a larger effort where, if we went through a full remediation effort with lighting, laying all new sod, and we got like a rough estimate of 2.5 million to go in and do a full scale. So obviously that's a much larger task there. This was an effort that we think might work, but that's why we wanted to look at a pilot because, sometimes you get what you pay for, right?
Yep.
Okay, any questions?
I had a question.
Yes.
Timeline, you mentioned timelines. Assuming you get the funding you need, what kind of timeline that we're looking at?
So that is one thing that we are waiting on from the landscaper. So I'm not 100% confident we're gonna have that for the full application, but I think we should have it fairly
Town
soon.
Meeting, yeah.
Yeah. So that is the hope that we'll get something from them as far as what, because obviously we want to be able to fit this into a time frame that minimizes downtime or allows us to plan for downtime. Because we do expect to do one field and then the other field. So we know there's going to be some level of downtime there. We're not going to close the whole facility for like the 2 to 3 fields.
I mean, as far as our timeline goes, the application is due in on September 15th. There'll be a presentation. There will be more detailed discussion, more detailed questions. Time to fine tune things well before town meeting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice. The more information we have, the better prepared we are, but
Understood.
we do have a little bit of time to play with because it is only spent. John?
Yeah, I was just wondering, have you guys applied for any other grant funding or anything like that?
This is the first effort that we put towards this. We had a full changeover in our board. Basically, it's all new board members. So we kind of are taking to some things that we've seen as problematic in the past. So this is new to us, and we have not yet approached any other potential opportunities for funding.
I'll just say that that would sweeten the pot, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the bright side, given that this is not a full-scale renovation of the entire thing, there's gonna be plenty of opportunity, but yeah, as John says, when we go into town meeting, if we're showing that, we kind of said this to Victor too, if we're showing money's coming from different places, it's a much easier sell to town meeting. So the more of that we can show that you can show that you've done, the better.
Right, and I'm just looking at what I'm saying in terms of the estimated projected cost. You're at least estimating that some of it will come out of your own funds. Is that correct?
The idea was that the pilot would come out of our own funds and internal fundraising. So we'd want to do that pilot and then validate that we have a feasible solution for remediation. And then once we have that, we would look to, procure the full funding.
Because like with Stoughton Youth Baseball, that was a big part of it as well, showing that they were fundraising as well for it, so.
Understood.
Yeah.
Additional questions? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
No second.
Well, I didn't make it, I'm entertaining it.
Oh, you're entertaining it.
I like to be entertained.
Okay, okay.
Reese is making the motion.
I'll make it the
Do
motion.
we have a second? Rich seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Yeah,
John? I don't be.
yeah. Just forward movement on what we just discussed would make it more attractive.
Understood.
Yeah.
Any, I'm sure we can start to look at some soccer centric funding. Are there other common funding sources that you've seen that people usually reach out to in a scenario like this, or is it kind of just?
It's not usually common. It's going to be almost sports specific and
Yeah, like we heard from Matt tonight with Mass Golf, or Matt Coshawn may be able to point you in some directions as well.
Okay.
I mean, for the committees, but you may recall, Barry and I met Eric at the Stoughton Youth Baseball kickoff. He had approached us and talked a little bit. He came to the public hearing and talked a little bit about this, so. As he said, this is new to them, it's new to us.
Are you part of the league?
Yeah, it's a South Shore Soccer League.
So talking with them or any state or whatever, and
We can do that.
That's the same South Shore Soccer League that's been around for about 50 years.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Were you a rep at that? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was in the Spanish League.
Excellent.
okay, so we had a motion
Had a
in
motion.
a second. Discussion?
Yes.
Ready for a vote? I'm ready.
Yes.
Rich? Bob?
Yes.
Yes.
Maurice? Dwight?
He said
You're on
yes.
mute, but I could read your lips. You said yes. Dawn?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Eric, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Best of luck.
Appreciate your time. You're gonna sit through.
Sit through
I
everything.
know.
Heard some good stories.
And I think, well, actually you did. You heard some good discussion points about the different types of issues that,
That's right.
think about that as you do your presentation. For the next few months now, it's a joint effort to move an application forward and to help prepare for town meeting.
Got it.
I mean, we don't wanna go to town meeting and get turned down. And our record has been pretty good and the more we can help you, but we can only help.
Understood.
We look forward to working with you.
Appreciate your guidance.
Yep,
Thank
yeah.
you.
If
Okay.
you need anything, let me know.
Yeah, thanks, Barry.
We're actually like right on schedule. That is unbelievable, Barry. 60 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes, and sadly, we still have more to go. So next up on the administrative items, first up is recommended closeouts. I'll let Barry walk through these, and these are for the fall town meeting.
These are for fall town meeting, yep. First one is the railroad station restoration. That is a zero balance. And the reason it's a zero balance is because at the last town meeting, we had to transfer money. It was a negative balance of $300 and some thousand. We had to transfer money to bring that back just to zero.
All
Although-
110, yeah. They
Yeah.
spent all the money. They had that little accounting foobar.
Yeah,
We got that fixed up and
right. So we figured rather than confuse things by putting the closeout on the same warrant, and we delay it, the town meeting.
Yeah,
So now
so
that's
just
it's a
getting it
zero
closed.
balance. We're gonna close out this is the oldest railroad station renovation project. I think it came up at the same time as
as
the,
the original acquisition.
as the acquisition, which was just before I started working here. So that's all of this. So,
Time flies.
it's a zero balance. I'm gonna ask for a recommendation that we close
We
that
need
out.
do we need a motion on that?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Do we want to do it individually or do we want to do,
The whole thing?
there's like 5 or 6 of them, Barry?
There's only 3. Let's go individually.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion to approve the closing of the railroad station restoration project 10060. John just made that. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Bob seconded. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none. Rich?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Maurice?
Aye.
Dwight? Thumbs up.
Yeah.
John?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Okay. The second one is one that,
We heard from Ed Quigley.
you heard from Ed, and again, there's an invoice which has already been, a product he already has.
Right.
It's just a matter of getting it paid, and as Michael said, that's probably already been encumbered, so by the time town meeting rolls around, that will be ready, it'll be completely wrapped up, so I'm just looking
I'll
for.
make that motion too.
Okay,
Okay, do we have a second? Do we have any questions, discussions?
Well,
Okay, we'll move to a vote.
based on what Ed said, I mean, so we can, not sure I quite understand the mechanics, but when the receipt that's coming in is already acknowledged here, so we can close this out based on.
yes,
Yes,
I know what the invoice amount is, so I know what is going to be left after.
so they can encumber it, and in fact, they should have it paid long before, well, actually, maybe not long before, because town meeting's in
Right.
October, but yeah, as long as we know about it, they can encumber it. They don't have to wait for the invoice to close out the project. That's just an accounting transaction that we don't need to worry about. But we'll have that conversation. This, we'll have to go through all these and agree with them. So. Anything else?
Made.
Just need a vote.
Moving to a vote. Rich?
Who seconded?
Bob?
I did.
Bob did.
Okay.
Yes.
Larice, yes. Dwight?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Okay, and the third one is for Elm Street Field improvements. That project is, at least the spending is complete. We're still waiting for them to do a CPC sign, so I'm not sending the project closeout to, the project manager, Steve Barton, until we get that. That should be coming in the next couple of weeks. But I'm just asking for the CPC to vote that we can, once that is in, we can close it out.
So moved.
Seconded?
Second.
Any discussion? Let's take a vote. Rich?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Luis?
Yes.
Dwight?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Now, Barry, you don't have them listed, but in your package, we also had the Marks Field design and the Dennison Athletic Complex.
Right, I didn't have them listed. Hang on. We can, were they in the packet?
They're in the package.
Yes, they are.
Oh, yeah, I know why, because we already voted, I think we already voted to close them. Hang on a minute. Just bear with me for a minute.
Okay, it's,
Yes, we voted
We've
last
already
February,
voted.
believe it or not.
okay, so they're here, this is a repeat, we've already voted, so those are good.
Yep.
I mean, what we found, we were actually pushing the town and I don't want to overstate it, but we actually got pushback from Biz, who, as you recall, last year was very anxious for us to close out projects. I mean, that whole project she did, closing out old appropriations, had a tremendous benefit for the town. Well, we were pushing her for some that I don't think she's quite ready for. So she was kind of like, hey, which is a good thing. It shows we're doing what we should be doing. Okay, next up is the recommended rescission of unbonded authorized borrowing
Right.
for Cape and Reynolds.
This is the balance that was authorized for bonding. We're not going to bond it. There's enough cash to
Yeah.
do whatever is remaining on the project. So, this is actually the last,
Bonding, yeah.
this is the last authorized but unissued piece of bonding that this committee has recommended. So this will have no bonding that we've recommended that hasn't been issued after this.
So again, it's kind of cleaning up on the books. 'cause
We're cleaning it up.
we
We
would not
can
be
always,
borrowing money.
recommend new bonding, but this
Right.
just closes up everything that's on the books now. And Rich, you're okay with this?
I move it.
How much?
118,000.
118,000
So that means what? That money is now turned back to the town?
Mhm.
goes back to the CPC. Well,
We were authorized by town meeting to borrow the $118,000.
Actually more, this is the balance.
This is, yeah, there's 118 that we had not yet borrowed, that we were technically still carrying an authorization, but we don't intend to borrow. So we're just closing it off the books.
So moved.
It is
Second.
a good thing to do. So moved, I heard a second. Any further discussion? Yeah. Hearing none. Rich? That was yes. Bob?
Yes.
Maurice?
Yes.
Dwight?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Yes.
John? And I vote
Yes.
yes. Okay. 20th, item on is discuss selecting a new chair and treasurer.
This
I know
point,
we
unless
mentioned
somebody
it
wants
last
to
week, but.
step forward, we can. I don't know, I don't know what to say in terms of what, I'm obviously not gonna volunteer anybody for the job, but, something to think about. I'm not gonna say anything else at this point.
Well, I guess, I mean, you brought it up last month.
Yeah.
We need to think about it,
I need to
because
think about it, because time is running
I'm
out.
here and I'm gonna stay involved, I guess, for a couple more months.
Yeah.
But certainly by the end of the year, I won't be a resident of Stoughton, so.
Yeah.
Dwight?
Well, just in my pre-thinking of it, I'm clearly not interested or capable of being president or treasurer. I'm certainly willing to stay on as vice chairman, but I think given their experience on the panel and the length of time here, that John Linehan or Larice should be seriously considered. And Larice is shaking her head, but John, so I mean,
I think John's shaking. a
I
little bit
think,
here, too.
I would nominate, should you, once you're gone, Barry, and I'm sick that you're going in both roles. I mean, it's just hard to imagine as how quickly you made yourself
I know.
indispensable, but I mean, so my idea would be John for chairman and treasurer. I'm thinking about that. So that's my thought.
And at this point, I'm way too busy.
I was just gonna say.
Well,
Well, it's something, folks, that needs to
Yeah.
be thought about.
Right.
And certainly based on tonight's meeting yes, there's a bunch of updates of projects that are coming to fruition in the next couple of months, but there's
Yeah.
an equally big list here of stuff going forward that, I mean, I think Barry rightfully wanted to have a little bit of a discussion and get it moving, and something's gonna have to be done. But it doesn't have to be done tonight either.
No, but I'll say this, if somebody wants to consider becoming treasurer, the sooner you step forward, the more time you'll have to do some on-the-job training and
Yeah.
follow in Michael's footsteps. But
May
I'm
I
also-
suggest John Brady?
I'm also not, I'll be available to help. That's. Dwight says how quickly I've become indispensable, but I'd like to think I've been working at this for the last 10 years now to get here, so.
To be,
And enjoyed every
I
minute.
have one question on the treasurer thing. To be treasurer, how much do you have to interface with the town people to do it correctly? That'd be my only question.
You know, I might talk to Biz a couple times a month tops when I'm trying to when usually it's to ask for something and then re-ask to get it, to request to get the same reports. Barry is gonna be able to step in, he's gotta sign in, but he's gotta find the time as well to be able to run the reports. So it's not a great interaction, not a great amount of interaction.
but I have heard seems like you've had a learning curve with a new person too. I mean, you've had a fair amount of interaction that took you to figure out what they want.
There were
you, vice
a lot
versa.
of issues that needed to be resolved. Fortunately, I think we're in a good place, and some of the processes were put in place, like this pre-application and going through, but the closing and the rescission, the stuff we're doing has made it a lot easier.
Yeah,
going
Michael's
forward,
left
because
all the
everything is
systems in
pretty
place.
well defined.
Yeah.
But there will be, because, there are times they'll run a report and you'll have questions on the report, and you'll need some interaction with Biz.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you an example, one of the things that will be new for us this year, what we were asked to do, was to put together the administrative account budget for the CPC. And I figured I'd take a look at it, and, in maybe 20 minutes, I had it done for next year. Because Michael had left a framework in place that was pretty easy to see and pretty easy to work with.
And that has come across, like, when Bill was here, Bill did most of that stuff and we just got the outputs. And then we went through, what was it, Mary Ann or Anne Marie? I know I get the names messed up, but a couple different people and different things we've learned, but I think we're at a point now where we'll be able to say, okay, this is the report we're gonna work on. As opposed to, for the last few years, I've gotten different reports and kind of had to figure out how to work together. We come to this one report that Barry's gonna be able to run, so we will have a consistent report going forward, which has a lot more on it than some of the earlier reports I had. The issue of the budget came up 2 years ago because we were trying to get Barry some reimbursement for money he had put out of pocket. And after Bill had left, there was no budget in the system. They couldn't process the expense report to reimburse Barry until they put a budget in the system. And work was up to their shoulders. And I said to him, well, just send me what you did last year. And I took a look at the spreadsheet and said, okay, I can do this. And we just built it and sent it to them. So then this year I did the same thing, sent it into Biz, and she's like, well, we already did the budget. Actually, I think last year I offered to do it. She said, no, she'll do it. This year I said, preemptively, I sent it into her, and she's like, well, we already did it. And the next month she came back and said, you guys have to submit this going forward. It's like, okay. It's not a hard thing. We take and we say, this much goes into salaries, this much goes into these, but tell us what you need and we can do it.
Yeah.
But I think, Don, going forward, we have that pretty much, and not 100%. There'll be things that will come up, but
I'd entertain trying the treasurer, sure. Not too old to learn something new.
Yeah, that's good.
Getting there, but not too old yet.
Well, that's good. That's progress.
good.
We're all getting
That's
there.
right.
I don't know if people want to stew on the whole issue and maybe we'll schedule a vote for next month or.
Whatever you want to do.
On me.
Whatever the will of the committee is.
Yeah, well, if John,
About it, John, and we'll put this on the agenda for next month's meeting.
What was Dwight gonna say?
well, if John, says he's far too busy to do it. I am far too old to do it. Don's not too old to learn new things, but I am, and even do some of the things I've done in the past. So that leaves then the presidency up to maybe somebody who would like to step forward. I mean, I see various strengths, whatever from people there, but the presidency, if John is not going to take it, and Marie shook her head, is it's kind of an 800-pound gorilla that we've got to tackle next time. But people out there who considering, well, I'm new, but I'd give being president a shot. I mean, Mark Zamanian came in without a whole lot of experience, but he certainly was very involved for 2 or 3 years before he stepped in. So I guess I'm sorry to belabor the obvious, but the people out there who are willing or would kind of like to be president or could be forced into it, you better be giving it some thought, because we're going to need someone.
Yeah, and I obviously I work pretty closely with whoever is the chair and the treasurer.
And the reality is Barry does most of the work.
Yeah.
I mean, we are, as we've said a million times, I think Barry's role has evolved tremendously from day one, from what he began doing, and that grew a lot under Mark, and I think it's grown a little bit more now, even as we talked about some of these reports, and Barry's a great aid to help. I mean, at the end of the day, the role of the chair is really to run the meeting.
Right.
Most of this stuff, most of these proposals come into Barry, and that's where the conversations take place. So, I mean, I have a lot of conversations with Barry, so yeah, there is, but way more interaction with Barry than with anybody at the town. And then it's up to the committee.
Yeah.
It is a 9-person committee, and it works much better if 9 people are involved. And yeah, different types, different times, different people carry more of the weight, for sure, as we all know, but it really does. I mean, spreading out the work makes it a lot easier for everybody. So.
Right. And
It's
I don't
spoken
think
by a
there's
guy who's chair and treasurer.
Yeah.
He's great at both.
Yes.
But, no, I'm trying to think of a way that you could spread it out. I mean, obviously, having different people as chair and treasurer would certainly,
Well, that'd be a big help.
that would be a big start in that direction. But
I would not want to have done both had I not had all the experience doing the treasurer. For sure, that to pick that up from scratch was.
no, and as I say, the
I
new.
would
treasurer
just
will be
say
able to
that you've done a fantastic job as chair and treasurer. Obviously.
Here.
I will miss.
There are many things I can second because I'm not a member, but I'll second.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Speaking of which, we still have,
We still have things on the agenda.
I think we've covered everything the chair wanted to say, and we don't have a treasurer's report. I am hoping we'll get something. We'll need something. We're gonna need a good update. I had a conversation with Biz to try to get the numbers, and while we haven't closed out the year yet, we don't want to generate too many reports till we close out the year. She's got to be filing in the next couple of weeks, I think. Early October is the
By
deadline for
September
the CP2.
15th for, the CP1,
The CP1, which is the revenue piece, and
revenue. That's
So,
due on the 15th.
that has got to come to fruition. So hopefully for October, we'll get something. And that'll be a good handoff, and I'll sit with Dawn and we'll figure out where to go with that.
15th of,
What?
15th of
September is when the
Is the CP1
CP1, which is the report of revenue, local revenue.
And it's actually completed by the assessor's office in terms of what they're doing, and this is what our collections were, and Then they gotta close out the accounting books to make sure all the entries kind of agree with that
Yeah,
stuff.
that last, we knew the last fiscal year hadn't been closed out still.
Yeah, it's the last 2 years that CP2 has gotten delayed. The CP1, you can't delay because if you don't get that in on the 15th, you risk not getting your assessment in November. So there's a little bit more urgency on the town's part to get that one done. The CP2, I mean, I'd love to say that we're gonna be in a position that Biz will share it with us before they submit it so that we've learned the last couple of years that it can go in wrong. That's where a lot of the stuff that Dwight referenced about the things I've talked about and dragged everybody through more detail probably than you want, just so you have to help convince myself as well as the town, but just to leave a good record of how we got to where we are.
And I will say that from what I know, compared to other town departments, the CPA fund is probably in as good a shape as any, any, part of the town books. Probably maybe in better shape than any part of the town books.
I learned over the years talking with them that for a long time, Bill knew a lot more about what was in those accounts, but with all the people since then.
Yeah.
I know more what's in the accounts because I've been looking at them in detail for years, whereas for the town accountant, it's just another department on top of the desk. Yeah.
Right.
I wish they would work a little closer with us and give us, but whatever. I think we're in a better place than we used to be, so.
And some of it depends who you talk to.
Yeah. There are times when they're great and there are other times when it's like, yeah, could you just run the report and give me this? Anyway, administrators report.
Well, we've got 3 articles that we're putting together, and one of them we've already approved, which is for Bird Street with Jerry McDonald. Closeouts and rescission, we just went over, so we're good there. I'm planning for setting up a table on Stoughton Day, September 20. Oh, that's what I meant to ask Matt when he was here. I can do that later.
Yes, you do have to register for Stoughton Day with him. So
Yeah, I know. In fact, maybe I'll call him tomorrow. I meant to say something tonight to him. Yeah.
He's gonna be,
Whatever.
I work part-time still. for
Okay.
work, So.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of doing that and just basically putting together a booth with a sign that will have our logo, which is we're now trying to get out in front of people for every project that gets finished. And I think that's going well. It's very colorful. It's very recognizable. If we set up a table and as part of the table, I can have a little booklet to hand out, which has, each page will have a completed project with a photograph, excuse me, and a little blurb of what the project was, whose project it was, and what it means to the town of Stoughton. So I'm hoping to get that done. I hate to say it, but I can't guarantee that I'll be ready, but I'm gonna do what I can to be there. If anybody wants to work with me on that,
Is it 9 to 3? What's,
No.
it starts at 9. I don't know how it runs.
what is it?
It's not, I didn't think it was like.
I think it's excellent.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
And again, not to sound like a broken record, I mean, I've said it to several of the applicants, the more we get our message out to the people, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
We see how much is going on. It amazes me sometimes when you talk or you see comments on social media that people just don't make the connection. They don't see that this is coming from the CPC, and it's like, guys.
11 to 3.
And again, it's not our money.
What is it?
It is our money because we're taxpayers.
Oh, 11 to 3, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was only 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew it was.
6 hours would be a long.
I would join you, but I already have a commitment for that afternoon.
You'll be there anyway doing something else.
Walpole. I'll be in.
Oh, you're in Walpole?
Yeah, I'm committed to that organization.
Okay.
Day.
Okay, thank you.
I assume, Dwight, you're probably gonna be there anyway. for
I'll
the
be there
show?
with the Historical Society, right?
So maybe if we use some
Okay.
influence, you can get a booth near the Historical Society and point to Dwight.
Yeah, well, that would work out. Some we could cover for each other and maybe.
Okay.
Mention that to Matt when you're, or
Yeah.
Louise.
So we could have like
See if we
a
can get a
joint
booth
table?
next to the,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
not a joint table, but side by side.
side by
Side by
side,
side,
yeah,
okay.
because they'll need room. I'm sure Dwight's got a lot of stuff that they're gonna put out.
That's true too.
Uh,
Cool.
Okay, next up on the agenda, are you done with this?
I'm done with my, yeah,
We
next
have
up is
approval of
minutes.
minutes. Barry sent out the minutes for the CPC meeting of August 6th. I hope people had a chance. I went through them. Everything looked good to me. Um,
It was a
I
short
love
meeting.
being, yeah, it was a relatively short meeting. I love having last month's meeting minutes. A, refresh coming into tonight, but also then to be approved and caught up. It's,
Tonight's meeting minutes will
are gonna be long.
considerably longer.
Any questions, comments, discussion of the minutes? Anybody want to make a motion to,
Motion to approve the minutes of August sixth.
do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. Rich?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Maurice?
I wasn't here, so I abstained.
Abstain. Dwight?
Abstain.
Don?
Yes.
John?
I didn't have a chance to read them, so I'll abstain too.
And I will vote yes. Does that give us enough to?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4.
No, I wasn't here. so I
Well,
Well,
didn't-
you can vote even.
But
if
we
you
can
weren't here.
still vote. I'll vote yes.
Oh, I read them.
Yeah, I think we
Okay,
had
they were
4.
great.
If
Yeah,
you-
you don't, you
I
can
did read
vote
them.
to approve them even if you weren't here. I mean, if they
Oh,
just
okay.
sound good,
Yeah, they sounded good.
All right,
I'll vote yes.
okay?
all right, so.
And I will too.
now- Okay. And John Monahan?
I'm abstaining.
Okay,
that-
all right,
That's
so
fine.
we've got 6 yeses and 1 abstain.
Abstention.
Okay. All right, very good, thank you.
I'm gonna guess there's no other unanticipated new business or emergency matters. Hearing none. We do have our next meeting for October 8th, the
October 8th.
second Wednesday.
Yes, second Wednesday.
And a note under here, and I had said this to Barry when I saw the size of the agenda here, is we may want to think about sneaking in a second meeting, because that October 8th meeting, if we're gonna try to go through full application reviews of all 8 of those projects, or 9 of those projects, is gonna be tough.
Well, so maybe we'll do a second October.
It
meeting.
could be 2 in October.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll know, oh, we can set something up now, as long as we're all here.
Well, yeah, no, the question is, what does the committee want to do? I mean, it's,
Well, what is our obligation to have made a final decision on all of those? I mean, we can continue, can't we? I mean, do we need to have a final thumbs up or
we do
thumbs
not
down?
need to review and vote on all of these in one night. No, we have really probably into November. The town came to us in December last year looking for kind of a final schedule of what was going to town meeting in May. I mean, for years, we were kind of fighting this thing right up until February, the first week of February, when Board of Selectmen had it. But the town has kind of clamped down and said, they're killing themselves with all those moving pieces going into town meeting. They gotta resolve it. So I think by our December meeting, we need to have final votes.
Right, so we
On
did
what we
build the
want.
buffer in.
Hey,
That's probably why we
excuse
need
me.
to schedule up.
What, wasn't the town the latest ones that we dealt with?
They
Often,
usually
yes.
are.
Often, yes, but irrelevant, John, because although according to our new schedule, we're controlling this. I mean,
One hand fighting the other.
Well, we don't have any problem this year yet, so.
yeah, but
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, we could, as a group, say, you know what, we've got, what is it? Eight projects, I guess.
yeah, I mean, we could say we've got enough, we're not
We're gonna
interested
do-
in entertaining any more
Well,
applications.
actually 8, we got one more because we're gonna get.
We know it's,
Yeah.
right,
We don't have to review them all on October 8th. We can arbitrarily decide we're gonna do some of them and we're gonna do some in November. I think that still gives us enough time. Or we could add a second meeting, which we've done in the past, but fortunately, I think we have time to make,
I think we're all right.
I think we'll be okay with the 2 meetings.
all right,
Cause our own deadlines, no one's coming in with anything else. It's like,
Right.
boom, you're done, we've had it.
We may have to, hold off on final decisions until we hear all of them.
yes,
Absolutely. we don't have to vote in October on anything that we hear.
No.
We can tell people, listen, we appreciate, we can give you a sense that we're in favor, but we need to balance 4.5 million. Actually, it will be over $5 million with Deb's $500,000 thrown in here.
Say that again.
That's-
Say that again.
It will be over $5 million in requests.
Yeah.
That's a lot. For next year's town meeting.
Plan her
Well,
the-
it's-
Yeah.
The
but we-
second meeting, give her more time to gather her data.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
I mean, I'd still like to have the application in,
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
but, yeah, by the 15th. Just to be fair to everybody that we said we needed to have it in by the
Yeah,
15th.
there's a reason for the deadlines, and
Yeah.
that lets us look at them, and if we have any questions, I mean, even if they gave us an application September 15th, and we didn't schedule them till November, we could still have a question amongst ourselves and give them feedback for November. We don't have to. I mean, it gives us more working time to resolve what we have. That's all. I mean, so I guess we'll leave it at that. And Barry, I guess what I'd say is you can work out which ones you want to bring in October and November and talk
Yeah.
to the people. And I mean, it's 9 projects, so.
Yeah, this
probably-
meeting, I listed them, I think I listed them in the order that I received them.
Yeah.
For the pre-apps, I may do it the same way for the full apps.
Yeah, so you may want to balance, because
That's a fair.
It is.
Yeah.
yes, it is. It's a very fair thing to do, but you may want to look at it in terms of some thought about how much discussion
I know.
we're gonna have so that we don't kill ourselves. And
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
for the same reason, pushing half the projects off, if they're the easy ones, then we're still gonna get a very bogged down October meeting. But
Right.
Barry's judgment is good enough for me in that regard, so.
Yeah.
And town meetings in October as well, right?
Yeah, it's October 20th.
Oh, yeah, that's another reason why a second meeting in October.
Dwight has his hand.
Barry, when he said 5 million and it sounded like you were ready to say, but we have plenty of money to cover that, or what is your sense, 5 million as opposed to what we have?
I'm gonna turn the question to Michael. I don't think we can easily cover all of that.
No.
It's pretty close, I think, to what we have available.
I'm gonna say, I think we could cover it because it's not all gonna get spent in the next year. But it is a concern. I mean, I don't know that we want to tie up, because 5 million is what? It's almost 3.5 years worth of money.
Yeah.
Well, close to.
And especially with state funds coming down in the future, I don't know that the next couple of years, we're gonna see big state matches.
Right.
We did, as we said, I think at the last meeting, went over $1 million in the local contributions this year, so it is 3 or 4 years worth of money, so.
Yeah, it doesn't leave us in a good position for next year, let's say.
It certainly would tie our hands and is a very legitimate concern to say, hey, we can't do all this at once.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why hopefully by the time we're making that vote, we have to have a good breakdown of those funds. And that's the CP2 is the key to us to get that.
Yeah, I mean, we may have to prioritize certain projects over others and say to people, we can't do it this year, but
Come back next
come
year.
back next year.
Exactly.
Or break it down and can we do half it, whatever, it's.
Yeah.
The CP2 is the starting point because it tells us what the ending balances available to us are. The spending from the fiscal year is then, because as you recall, when I did the budget, at least I dragged us through it a couple times, the rollout that we showed. Well, we can put the real numbers in it. This is what we had on June 30th, 2025. This is what we spent.
Yeah.
And then we know what's left over, and we have, because we're getting another million something next year. So that's why I say we could afford to pay this, but we're already counting on spending next year's money when we're doing that.
Right.
Barry, was that including any money from state theater?
Yes, that 5 million.
Well, the 5
includes the
million
2 million
includes,
from state theater, yes.
2 million for the State Theater, and that's if all these went through. It's 2 million, 1 million.
Right.
500 for the Dennison, 500 for Hebrew Senior Life, and then a couple of smaller ones, 375, 350. But it's 5.1 million if, it's 5.1 million being asked for at this point.
Okay.
And then our hard decision come November is what can we afford to do? Because I think all the projects have some degree of merit. It's
If I was to choose right now, and not by dollar request, but by, most deserving, I have to say the golf course, they're making money. And every time they ask for money, they make more money.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, his numbers were impressive. So you
Yeah.
know, it's a small project.
I would say to me, the housing one would be the number one. I mean, I've only been here over a year, but I mean, that there's, you haven't been utilizing that fund. You are with that, obviously the other project, but, I like that Memorial Drive.
I mean, again, I think there's merit and
There's all, they all have merit. We'll have to just prioritize them.
Right, and I think that's what we have, how we have to think about,
Right.
prioritizing.
Yeah.
Some
a
of them be left out.
thought to keep in mind. I mean, is
Absolutely.
there a number we as a group think is the right number to approve in a given year?
Exactly.
The dollar amount, I mean,
I have some legal questions.
Yeah, knowing that we've got a
Going
million
down
tree
the
coming in every year,
With the,
we would certainly like to spend, I mean, in an ideal year, $1 million a year.
yeah, but we do have money that we haven't spent.
But in earlier years, we spent so little that we do have some money that would get us to a point. But we don't want to spend to the point where if something great came up in the middle of next year, we've already committed the money and we can't go forever.
And we'd have to.
And that's part of what I'll try to look at. I'm guessing I won't have it for the October meeting, but certainly for the November meeting, but I'll push Biz to try to get some updates and say, hey, you got to give us some information because.
Yeah, it helps to know what we, how much money we have, and we don't really.
I mean, I was kind of shocked and I mean, again, I'm gonna say, boy, am I glad we set some deadlines of August 15th for the application. When Barry called me and said, I got boom, 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 I'm like, holy cow.
Got what you asked for.
Yeah.
You put the word out, and they came back.
I think it showed the public hearing work, getting the word out. I mean, be careful what we're asking for, because this is all good stuff.
It's a good problem to have though. in
It is a
way.
good problem to have.
If you didn't have people knocking on the door, you'd be,
That's true.
you'd be standing in the street dragging them in.
Anyway, not to beat that issue, we'll leave that up to Barry to set the agenda for the next 2 months, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, Brad, but any other final closing comments before everybody's favorite motion of the night?
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, anybody want to discuss it for 10 more minutes? Certainly not. Rich?
Aye.
Bob? Aye. Maurice?
Aye.
White?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Barry? I don't need Barry, I need Joe. You switch pitches here on there.
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.